Score early and score often is the message around this Outlaw clubhouse as we roll in to Casella night down here at Damaschke Field. Welcome back to Oneonta Outlaws pregame. As always, my name is Colby Smith, and this Outlaw team really needs to get the bats hot right from the jump, seeing the defending champion Amsterdam Mohawks. They've won 2 in a row here in the PGs to Griffin a little bit before game time today, but he sure had a lot to say about this Amsterdam team and how proud he is of this group and the way they've rallied back. Amsterdam lost 2 of their first 6 games as they started 4-2 on the season, and since then, if it puts anything into perspective for you, this team is now 26-5. So since then, this team has gone 22-3, which is certainly remarkable. 2 of those losses did come fairly recently, as the Mohawks won 9 straight from June 20th, to July 6th. Then they lost back-to-back games. As Saturday, July 6th, they lost a walk-off game at Boonville, and yes, to Boonville, the 8th-place team in this East Division, by a 7-6 score. Then turned around the next night, lost down at Saugerties 7-4, but then you have to remember they bounced right back on Tuesday night, got an 18-2 win against this same Mohawks group. So since then, they've won 5 straight wins, or have 5 straight wins, with 3 of the 5 of those being double digits where they have scored. As we mentioned, the Saugerties game, also had one against Albany and another game against Utica as well, as this Mohawks team has continued the threshold of trying to once again eclipse 30 wins here in the later stages of July and get into the playoffs as the top seed, not just in the East Division, but in the entire league. On the Outlaws side of things, now that we've talked a little bit about this Mohawks roster, Oneonta going to be coming in, trying to get back in the win column. In the month of July, we'll get it out of the way now and not stress it too much. They have just 1 victory. Since the turn of the calendar, it has not been a great time for the Oneonta Outlaws. They had a couple of losses here at home. Only win was a 3-0 game against the Boonville Lumberjets last Friday night right here, and it was a dominant pitching performance. Outlaws are hoping they could get another one of those, led by Logan Marquez, who's going to get the start on the hill tonight. But they certainly got a dominant pitching performance last night in Utica. Just couldn't muster more than 1 run. As the player of the game last night, none other than Joel Hayner. He goes 5 innings, surrendering just 3 hits, 1 run. It was charges earned, giving up 2 walks and striking out 6. Hayner has been phenomenal this summer for this Outlaw roster, and he now sits 2nd in the entire PGCBL in ERA, something we'll talk about later on in the broadcast and stress, as Joel Hayner has just been shoving, to put it in Ethan Glossa terms, here recently. But now, talking about that loss at Utica last night, yeah, they only got 1 run, but the Outlaws certainly put on a defensive clinic. Take a look at our 2 plays of the game from up at Utica last night, and a big shout out to Troy Junn for shooting us the video after that game last night. But the Outlaws losers 2-1 in Utica. Take a look at the defensive plays of the game.
First base is Jaden Omer. Bucher hit home Kevin Denty on an RBI single to make it a 1-0 game. Bucher fakes a takeoff, and Kempler deals to Partridge. Partridge hits that one out into right center field. Left center field, the left fielder makes the catch. It's a great reaching grab from Hopko. Didn't have to hop for that one, but full extension over the shoulder catch to end this inning. And he deals home to Partridge, who shows bunt, and it's a nice one. Hayner fields and fires. That ball is going to be in there. Partridge can't reach on the bunt. It was a lovely idea, but a good scoop from waiting at first gets him to ground out on a 1-3.
So yes, that's exactly what the Outlaws needed last night. Benny Partridge on the wrong side of 2 great Outlaws defensive plays had that fly out to Jack Hopko, who's been an absolute beast in the outfield for the Outlaws so far this summer in the 2nd inning, and turned around and forced a 1-3 ground out in the 5th inning right after the Utica Blue Sox were blasting "Let's Get Sexy." So the Outlaws dugout certainly had a few things to say about that, as Joel Hayner was putting on a show yesterday in Utica. our player of the game. You already saw Hayner hoping that he can continue that dominance, but will be out of commission here for a few days after throwing 5 innings and 68 pitches last night on the road up there in Utica. Speaking of Joel Hayner, he was a guy that Jordan Goebel singled out as one he's loved to get to know, one that's become like a brother to him. A few of these Herkimer guys living together at Goebel's house this summer, and finally we got a chance to speak to Jordan Goebel before this team took batting practice this afternoon. So let's head down to our pregame player interview of the day with Outlaws pitcher Jordan Goebel, and when we come back, we'll keep things rolling here on Outlaws Pregame. Colby Smith, and I'm super excited to be joined today by Outlaws pitcher Jordan Goebel. Jordan, your second summer here in Oneonta, so you're no stranger to being an Outlaw. What's the experience been like for you, and what are some of your favorite memories?
I mean, it's a great experience, coming out here every day, just playing baseball with, some of your best friends. Good memories are like, I played with kids from Herkimer, my other college, and just winning. Like some of the walk-off wins we have, just exciting games.
Well, and what went into your decision way back when to first sign here and play in Oneonta?
I'm from Oneonta, so like growing up, I was just like always watched them, and I was like, that'd be cool. And then when Keaton decided to coach here, got the chance to coach here, I was more than happy to join him and play here.
Well, and talking specifically about that and seeing that smile, why exactly was it such an easy decision to play for Keaton?
Because actually when I was a freshman, we played on the same Legion team, Oneonta Green Wave, and I just knew Keaton all my life. We played golf together, He was just like the older kid when I was a young kid on the Legion team.
Well, and how awesome, confidence-wise for you, does it help to have someone who's believed in your abilities and what you can do for so long?
Oh, it's huge on the confidence part. I mean, when people believe in you, that's when you play your best baseball, 100%.
And you specifically, you've been pitching really well here this summer. What kind of things have you been working on, or what kind of things do you feel like have worked for you?
Coach Joe, what's up? Just more like just trying to have fun on the mound, like not think too much about like mechanical stuff and how hard it's going. Just go out there and have fun, get outs, throw strikes. Big thing.
Well, and this team, it seems like everybody kind of has a different answer. What kind of identity do you feel like this group specifically this summer has taken on, and how do you feel like you've helped out in that sense?
This team is definitely a group of characters. It's definitely a fun group. I mean, we all get along very well. But I mean, I don't know. I come here every day and just like to have fun. I mean, it's summer baseball. Nothing gets better than this. So just have fun.
Well, and who are some of the, bigger characters on this team, and who specifically is always the jokester in the clubhouse?
Well, shout out Clay Cox, not here no more, but he was definitely the biggest character on the team. Obviously the Wofford boys are all like that, but Joel Hayner for sure. Joel's definitely one of the biggest ones, definitely.
Well, and you and Joel Hayner seem to have quite the interesting friendship. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, me and Joel, he came to Herkimer in the spring my freshman year, and like right away we just clicked, and our coach let us be roommates, and we were roommates our sophomore year, and he's actually stayed at my house the last 3 summers playing for the Outlaws.
Well, and what kind of relationship is that, added for you guys, or, playing together and also living together?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, I know everything about that kid knows everything about me, so I mean, definitely a lifelong friendship right there with that.
Well, and how do you feel like baseball as a whole has helped you make some lifelong friends, and what kind of things has it, done for you as a person?
It's definitely made me a better person, definitely gave me a lifelong friends, like I said. I mean, I have 4 kids staying in my basement from Herkimer this year, and those kids are always going to be my friends for sure.
Who else you got staying with you, and what's it been like, getting to know them?
I got Logan Marquez, Ben Gilbert, and Ethan Glossa, all and Joel. And I mean, they all went to Herkimer. We were all kind of roommates, so I mean, we don't really we just know each other so well, so it's pretty easy.
Well, and you talked specifically about Joel Hayner, but it's known Ethan Glossa is another character around the clubhouse. What's it like having him around, and what kind of personality is he?
I met Ethan this spring, and it's another kid. Me and him just clicked because he's kind of like Joel. He likes to have fun. He loves baseball, and definitely a character. Definitely.
Well, and specifically as a whole, everybody in this locker room, you said, seems to gel. Everybody's really come together. How do you feel like that's happened so seamlessly for this team?
I just think everyone is kind of the same on this team. Like, we all like to have fun. We all like baseball. I mean, it's pretty easy when you have to become friends and become so close when you have the same interests.
Well, in terms of interest, everybody seems to talk about golf, fishing, and those sorts of things. Do you spend a lot of time doing that with other guys around the clubhouse?
Yeah, I mean, we've gone golfing probably 5 out of the last 6 days, us Herkimer boys. And, I mean, we got the big golfing term tomorrow. And we got, I mean, probably the rest of the summer we're going to go golfing almost a lot. Probably.
Well, and how do you feel like something like that helps you and those other boys, grow and get to know each other even just a little bit better off the field?
Oh, definitely, because, I mean, anytime you can get a chance, get away from baseball for a couple of days, it's definitely good for the mind and, like, just letting loose, and definitely get to, like, know some of the kids that you didn't know during school ball a little more.
Well, and you mentioned getting away from baseball for a few days. The schedule here in July has really been kind of fluky for you guys with all these off days and stuff. How frustrating is it to have a stretch where you only play one game in the span of 5-6 days?
It's definitely frustrating for a pitcher because, like, I mean, especially if you come out of the pen, like, you don't know if your number's like gonna get called on that day, and then, our starting pitcher's been doing very good recently, so, like, they go far, and then, like, last night, Kempler only went 3, Joel went the rest of the game out of the pen, so it's like, it's hard to get innings when you got all these rain delays, but you get used to it from being in New York.
Well, and Jordan, you mentioned being from New York, and you already kind of mentioned being here from Oneonta. How special is it to play here at Damaschke Field in front of friends and family every night?
It's definitely a cool thing watching them all come out and watch me and cheer me on. Definitely love to see them here.
And last question before I let you get back to it. Amsterdam Mohawks in here to play you guys tonight, a team that's been really good so far this year, always a historic program. What's the mindset heading into this game tonight, and what are you guys hoping to get out of it?
Just limit the mistakes, and we got to have, like, clutch hitting, timely hitting. We can't leave bases loaded anymore. We can't grant to double plays in big situations because this is too good of a team to do that too.
Jordan, thank you so much for your time. Good luck tonight. So got to give a huge thank you to Jordan Goebel for popping by our pregame show this afternoon. He certainly had a lot to say, as you heard. Talked about how special it is to play here in his hometown of Oneonta. Talked about what this team has been like so far this year and just all the great things that make this Outlaw organization what it is. Oneonta is certainly a special place here in the PGCBL, a fun atmosphere, and you heard it. Some of these guys grew up with Keaton Mark, with Jordan Goebel being one of those. They were on a Legion ball team together, and now he's his head coach here for summer ball. Goebel leans a lot on Mark, talked about how big it is for his confidence. And with mentioning Keaton Mark, we got to go down as the Outlaws start their introductions here at Damaschke Field to our head coach interview of the day with Outlaws head coach Keaton Mark. Colby Smith back here on another coach's interview with Outlaws head coach Keaton Mark. Coach, rough night for the boys last night up in Utica. You want to just talk a little bit about how that game went?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good game all around, but in saying that, they definitely gave us a couple of errors, and then we kind of gave it right back. But, I mean, I'm glad it was 2-1 ball game. It's good pace. Pitchers threw really well, but like I said, we just got to hit better and just clean up the errors.
Well, and talking about the errors, what specifically have you seen from fielding recently, and what kind of things are you hoping to turn the corner on?
I mean, last night wasn't too bad. I mean, a throw here or there and a scoop here or there. But other than that, I mean, we've been fielding it pretty well. Our infield's pretty good. Our outfield's always solid. Like I said, just hit a cut here and there, and we'll be all right.
Well, and what specifically have you looked for in terms of your outfield, in terms of positioning-wise and, trying to make plays like that?
I mean, our outfield, like I said, has been very good at tracking balls down. It's just sometimes our throws get a little out of hand. So just our positioning's been fine. Just like I said, just got to throw through a cut, that's all.
Well, and I wanted to talk specifically about Utica pitching staff last night. Comes up with 11 strikeouts. How exactly are you guys going to go about trying to cut that strikeout number down again?
Yeah, sometimes we take just one or too many strikes here and there where we just need to be more aggressive early in the count with the swing so we don't get the 2 strikes, because the easiest way to not strike out is just not get the 2 strikes. So just cleaning that up a little bit, that's all.
Well, and it seems like the walk rate has really been down here the last couple of weeks as well. What kind of things do you have to counter on the other side of things to kind of get some more of those?
I mean, when pitchers are competitive in the zone against us, like I said, we got to be aggressive early counts, and we love walking, yeah, but when, like I said, they're throwing strikes and we're just taking it, doesn't work very well. So just overall, just battling better with 2 strikes, just fighting off, just finding a way to get on base no matter what.
Well, and how frustrating is it for this team that seems like that left on base number constantly close to 10 or more.
Yeah, that is tough. It's been a curse all year for us, but here and there we come up with a big hit, but just searching for more clutch moments and just key hits is what we need to do going forward.
Well, and as a coach, how do you go about trying to instill in this team that they can come up with those big situational hits that have been lacking here?
I think sometimes just guys get a little too anxious when we have runners on base, bases loaded and whatnot, and just remembering that it's another AB, not anything out of the ordinary from what you would normally do, and just stick to your approach.
Well, and do you feel like anything changes in terms of atmosphere or approach playing in a tough environment like up there in Utica?
I mean, it's a pretty good environment the other night. I mean, like I said, the guys get a little anxious or nervous because, I mean, there were more fans last night and stuff like that. So, I mean, just the overall hype around everything gets higher. But just, like I said, sticking to your approach and just staying cool in the box.
Well, and all things considered, pitching has been really solid recently. Wanted to mention specifically Joel Hainer last night, 5 innings out of the pen. What did you see from him yesterday?
I mean, Joel's been dominant all summer, and just, like I said, competing in the zone, he's a guy that does it very well, and he gets ahead early, and then batters are just in a bad spot like we were in the first 5 innings there, and he's able to rack up strikeouts when he gets 0-2, 1-2, and then he puts them away, but I just hope he continues his success with that.
Well, and the bullpen as a whole hasn't had to be used too much here recently. A lot of that due to the break, but what do you feel confidence-wise in terms of your arm situation here these last couple weeks of the season?
We're confident. We just need a couple more guys to step up. Obviously, losing Cullen and Clay a couple weeks ago hurt, but if we get a couple more guys to step up out of the bullpen, we'll be just fine.
Well, and you go for Logan Marquez to get the start tonight against Amsterdam. He was solid all around first time he saw them for 2 innings. What are you hoping for out of Marquez tonight, and what's the plan to follow him up?
I'm just hoping for another strong 2 innings, and then after that, we're going to piece it together, kind of have a staff day. Hopefully, guys can throw 1 or 2 innings here and there and get them out and get like 5 different guys in the rotation tonight.
Well, and Coach, this Amsterdam Mohawks team is a group that certainly pieced it together after a little bit of a slow start. What do you take or what do you think about in seeing such a historic program like Amsterdam?
I mean, they're always tough, and we usually play them well, but you just got to remember it's another baseball team, and whoever shows up wins the day.
And Coach, one last question here before I let you go. After tonight, you guys head into that golf outing tomorrow. Who do you got your odds on to win the thing?
I don't know. There's been a lot of talk from a lot of the guys, but I don't know. We'll see. I got a couple outside teams I think that are gonna put some pressure on them, so we'll see. We'll see if the talk is real.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. Good luck tonight.
Thanks, Cole.
As always, Keith Moore certainly had a lot to say. Talked about the great pitching performance yesterday in Utica. Also, you heard it, we talked about the way the lineup is kind of situated itself and everything that's to come for this group. I mean, playing Amsterdam is certainly a fun night. Every single time, the Mohawks, one of the most historic programs in the PGCBL, as we stressed already, and they enter into this matchup with your Outlaws 26-5. Yes, the Mohawks, as always, are the best team in the PGCBL, and the Outlaws going to look to play. I don't really want to call it spoiler since it's their own home game in Casella night, but certainly going to look to do some damage facing the top team in the division. Is Jamar Williams going to lead things off against our aforementioned starter, Logan Marquez. Marquez is 6'1", 190 pounds. He's from Summerville, South Carolina, and he's going to be making his 4th appearance of the summer for the Outlaws and his 2nd against the Amsterdam Mohawks. It's a heck of a night for baseball down here at Damaschke Field. A little bit of a breeze, low 80s, a bit of a wind, but kind of dying down here as we've approached first pitch time, which you love to see. Is the other day, very windy, balls were dying, and now with no wind, balls could certainly carry as Marquez is going to come ready against Williams, and we'll get this Saturday night affair started. The first pitch going to go low and away outside, and Williams going to work ahead 1-0. Williams playing center field tonight for the Mohawks. He comes in on an 11-game hitting streak, has a .329 average. Is the 1-0 going to go up and away for ball 2. Most recently, last night against Albany in the Mohawks 4-0 victory that we talked about on our Outlaws Game Day video, went 1 for 3 with a double, a walk, a strikeout, and a stolen base. The 2-0 from Marquez, low and away, and that's going to be strike 3. Looked pretty good, but Marquez is going to throw 3 straight balls to get this game started. Williams is a patient guy, really found a place at the top of this order for Keith Griffin. Is the 3-0 pitch, low and away, that's ball 4. So he draws his 19th walk of the summer and gets on base to begin this one.
The shortstop from UConn, number 1, Rob Rispoli.
We turn things down to Rob Rispoli, the shortstop for this Mohawks team. The way Keith Griffin does his lineup is certainly different than the way any other coach in the PGCBL does, because you have to take a look. You have to take a look at the fact that he marks who needs improvement and where in terms of the lineup, as this one plunked on the back. And so Rispoli going to fire the bat away, and he'll be on as it's bat-to-bat to start this game for Amsterdam to reach base. But he marked that Rispoli certainly needed improvement in terms of his RBIs. And another guy right behind him in Jackson Natilli certainly needed improvement as well in terms of his RBIs. Not that these numbers are low, but Keith Griffin certainly expects the most out of his Amsterdam Mohawk guys, which is one reason why this team is always a powerhouse here in the PGCBL. Big leads for both on base as the check swing, and until he did go around, as it was almost like a half effort, but he drops behind 0-1. Natilli, the extra hitter in the lineup tonight for Amsterdam. And again, Williams walked to begin the game. Rispoli gets a hit by pitch as now this one smoked up the third base line and foul ground. And so it'll be 0-2 for the count. Rispoli, a .293 average. And Natilli right behind him, just a smidge over 300 as Ladahoff and Natilli sitting 1-2, not just on the Amsterdam Mohawks stat side of things, but also in the entire PGCBL as the 0-2 out towards third. King bobbling that one over to his left, going to slap the tag on, and they do force the lead runner out in Williams. So that will be a 5 unassisted. Rispoli gets over to second, and Natilli going to be on courtesy of the fielder's choice. So the Mohawks going to have 1 out on the board and still 2 dots on the pond. Cade Ladahoff going to be the next man up. He leads the entire PGCBL in batting average with a .411. Also leads the league in home run with 5. First offering from Marquez, hit right on a tee out towards left. Over in the gap, the play is made by Raleigh, making that one look easy as he covered quite a ways. We'll give it an L7 for out 2. As quickly, Cade Ladahoff going to be retired ahead of Jimmy Dion. Jimmy Dion, 6'4", 220. He's from Quebec City, Quebec. Hitting .423 on the season so far, but does not qualify in terms of batting average and whatnot here in this Mohawks roster, I guess. So the count's going to be 0-1. Just wrapped up his freshman year at Howard College, and he's in a big spot with 2 outs and 2 on base as the Mohawks not trying to strain a pair here on the road. As the 0-1 offering put on up towards the Outlaw bullpen, and it'll fall down there, so it's 0-2. And now Logan Marquez 1 strike away from getting out of this first inning here against the top team in the entire league. Amsterdam on a 5-game heater entering this game here at Oneonta against this Outlaw team who's trying to get back into win column for the first time since last Friday. Check look to the bases, the 0-2, swing and a miss. Logan Marquez going to get out of this first inning with a swinging K of Jimmy Dion. Bottom of the first we go. Going to be a 0-0 score between Amsterdam and Oneonta. Back here, historic Damaschke Field. Let's now take a look at the Outlaws batting order to get rolling here against Zach Eldred on Casella night at the ballpark. Leading things off, Jaden Ross, the big jump from the 10-hole hitter last night in Utica all the way to the leadoff spot tonight as he's in right field. Matt Carrera going to hit second at short. Jacoby Dale plays center field in his pitcher to the left here on your graphic. Colton Harrison is DHing. Brody Rowley going to be in left. Ryan King mans third. Dylan Millman is the extra hitter in the sit spot. Chase Armstrong going to be playing first. Jeremy Taggart is behind the plate, and he not only has his parents here, he's lucky enough to have his grandparents here as well. So Taggart certainly got a crew. Owen Burnsworth plays second, and you, of course, saw Logan Marquez throw the balls and strikes in the first inning as Jaden Ross walks to the plate, and we're ready to see the Outlaws hopefully get some hits and get some runs here early in this home affair. Zach Eldred getting the start tonight for Amsterdam as he winds and fires the first one. Big cut and a miss as Ross going to drop down 0-1. Ross, as I already mentioned, the 10-hole batter last night in Utica, went 2 for 3. His first 2-hit game in a little bit. Is Eldred going to kick and deliver the 0-1. Ross lays off just above his shoelaces, evens the count at 1-1. Ross overall, a .231 average, 12 for 52 on the season. Snapped a 2-game hit streak last night in Utica as the 1-1 shot on off over the Amsterdam pen and out of the ballpark, so it'll be 1-2. Ross in right field, and we said Jacoby Dale's in center field. Those two have really become best friends here this summer, spend a lot of time together when they're not at the ballpark, and don't get a lot of starts together, so nice to see them in the 1 and 3 spots and in the outfield as Ross takes one tight to the knees for ball 2. Ross has one more year left in terms of official 4-year schooling at the U.S. South Florida. Looking forward to getting back down there here soon enough. It's the 2-2 pitch. Ross out towards right again. That one will actually stay in the ballpark as it drops in behind the seats on the first baseline. So the count going to stay 2-2. Thought we were going to have another one heading to the parking lot, and I was praying and hoping that it wouldn't go for my windshield. Had one just a couple short inches away last week. 2-2 is Eldred going to shake off his catcher. The pitch shot on up over the screen behind home and going to get out of here. Yet again. That one went to the parking lot right on front of that little baseball that you have in front of the home gate here at Damaschke Field. And if you've never been here, hope you take the opportunity. The Outlaws, 2 more weeks of home games left in the regular season. And you saw our graphic between innings for Depot Wing Night Monday. 2-2. Another one just above the shoes. That's ball 3 as Ross working a battle against Zach Eldred to begin the Outlaw half of this first inning. So 7 pitches already, and he'll need at least 8. As Eldred, certainly an interesting movement, kicks back and delivers the 3-2. Straight back into the screen yet again. So that's 8, and we'll go to 9. Ross stands at 6'1", 185 in the box, and he is going to be getting in the gym, lifting here, hoping to add a little bit more muscle ahead of his senior season. As the payoff offering from Eldred, Ross takes it in the dirt. So he'll be on courtesy of a leadoff walk ahead of Matt Carrera.
Batting second, playing shortstop from HVCC, number 46, Matt Carrera.
Matt Carrera has been one of those definitions of consistency for this team. He's not the guy who does the flashy things like hitting the home runs or, coming up with 3-hit games here and then here out, but he's always good for a hit or two or getting on base a couple of times, even if it's courtesy of a walk, as he's always sitting here 1-2 in the order, and tonight takes the 2 spot behind Jaden Ross, and Carrera fouls his first pitch straight on back, so it'll drop to 0-1. Carrera, 5'6", 170 pounds in the box. He's hitting .264 in total through 16 games. 14 for 53 is Carrera, And last night, far from the ideal night that he wanted up there in Utica, 0 for 4, couple of strikeouts, and he did get caught stealing. Check look to first as Ross taking a big lead. The 0-1 pitch. Right side of the infield, going to roll into shallow right. Ross takes the turnaround second. Mart's going to stop in there, and the Outlaws going to have first and second with nobody out here in the bottom of the first.
Hitting third, the Outlaws, center field.
That'll roll up Jacoby Dale.
Jacoby Dale.
As the Outlaws, we told you right in our opening, the message was score early and score often tonight, as we are going to get a first inning mound trip from Keith Griffin. That is definitely the way the Outlaws wanted to start this one. Get Amsterdam a little nervous. This team, if it says anything for you about the way they operate and the way they do business, didn't roll in here until 6 o'clock tonight. So that is just the way the Amsterdam organization does things. Came in here to Oneonta hoping that they could steamroll another one, get another victory, heading into an off day tomorrow after a long week of games. But Outlaws, if the start any indication, not going to make it easy for them, as Marquez works out of traffic in the top of the first, leaving 2 on base. And now the Outlaws 2 on base with nobody away. And one of their guys who's been red hot here and sits second on the team in average, Jacoby Dale, stepping into the box. Dale, 18 games played. He's got a .355 average, which is second to just Jack Kopko, who's been seeing the ball, hitting the ball really well all summer long here in his second year as an Outlaw. Dale now ready to go, facing Zach Aldridge. Griffin's back in the dugout as Dale shoots one straight on bat for strike 1. Dale playing center field tonight for the Outlaws. Usually where you find him. He's had just one game all summer long where he was not in center field when he's been in the lineup. Ross is at second, Carrera's at first. The count 0-1 with still nobody away. Eldridge rots and delivers as Dale, left side of the infield, chopper to short. Rispoli trying to flip the double play, back to first. And Dion's foot came off, and so Jacoby Dale will be safe, but Matt Carrera is out. So there's one away and runners at the corners.
The designated hitter from Northwestern State, number 33.
Talk about a big spot for Colton Harrison. So it's a 6-4 to force out Matt Carrera if you're scoring along with us at home. And now Colton Harrison, who does the DH duties tonight, going to bat. Harrison, 6'1", 215, just recently committed to Northwestern State and has not played a lot recently for this Outlaw roster. His last full game was last Friday as the first pitch swinging, going to shoot it off over the screen, just barely out of the ballpark into the parking lot, so it'll drop to 0-1. He's hitting just a smidge over the Mendoza line at 214. This is his 16th game in total, trying to bounce back after that 0-for-3 performance last Friday with a walk and a bag. As the 0-1 skips off the plate until the count will draw even to 1-1. Eldred, we didn't take a look at his numbers as of yet. He's yet to record a win or a loss. Has a .270 ERA, 3 starts, 5 appearances with 16 2/3 innings pitched. Giving up 8 runs, 5 have been earned, 14 hits. He struck out 10 and walked just 7. 1-1 count, Ross at third, Dale at first. As Colton Harrison looking to get the Outlaws going here bottom first. Sends one high in the air out towards center field. Williams going to camp underneath it. Ross is ready to tag. He'll sprint on home. Throw's not going to get there in time, and the Outlaws going to have the 1-0 lead here against Amsterdam. That'll be an RBI sat fly for Colton Harrison. Is it a 1-0 score here in the bottom of the first? Brody Raleigh going to be the next Outlaw up. 5'10", 190 is Raleigh. He's hitting .256. And he's a guy who's certainly a do-it-all type player for this Outlaw team as well. He's the leader in terms of extra base hits as he has 7. 7 of his 11 hits have been for extra bases as he sends the first one just a smidge in front of the Outlaw pen out there in left field. As it's the Oneonta pen in left. Outlaws take the dugout on the third baseline. Amsterdam's got the first base dugout, and the Mohawks pen is in right field. Behind Logan Marquez, you heard it on our pregame show from head coach Keaton Mark. He's going to be a staff day today for the Outlaws pitching, so the bullpen down in left going to be buzzing here in this matchup against this defending champion club, Amsterdam. 0-1, called strike 2 on the lower outside, and so Raleigh going to be down fighting 0-2 with 2 away. Love to see Colton Harrison coming up with that big RBI sat fly. He told me during BP today that he was feeling good and was hoping that he could come up and make his presence known and do something good against this Amsterdam team, as he had yet to record a hit in 2 appearances against them. As the 0-2 from Eldred, swing and a miss. Raleigh going to be fans looking for the fastball, and so they strand Jacoby Dale over there at first, but not before the Outlaws get on the board. Going to be a 1-0 lead for Oneonta as we hit the top of the second here at Damaschke Field. Top half of inning number 2, and later on we will talk through our East Division standings as well as give you a quick insight as to what's going on out there in the western half of the league. But we got to get going here in this top half of the second. It's going to be 6-7-8 to lead things off for Amsterdam against Logan Marquez, who returns to the bump for a second inning. Faces Drake DiGiorno as DiGiorno first pitch hacking out towards the line and left and going to drop foul just barely. Probably a matter of an inch, maybe even less. Tight to that chalk line. Line is a little faded on both the left and right field side here at Damaschke. Head coach Keaton Mark and assistant coach Josiah Aska did the best they could to get the chalk lines all set up and ready for game time. But Oneonta has been hit by quite a bit of rain recently, so got to take the good with the bad, and certainly the fact you can at least see it, maybe not great, but you can see it is what counts. Going to be 0-1 as DiGiorno takes one in tight, so the count going to be even at 1-1. Aiden Stewart and Austin Foley going to be behind DiGiorno here in the second inning for Amsterdam. 1-1 pitch. Elevator shot right side of the infield and foul ground. Armstrong racing over, lays down, and he can't make that play. He lost his hat and he's jumping up and down because a play like that is one that Chase is known for making over there at first base for Oneonta. He's got a great glove, and Keaton Mark once again talked about it in our pregame coaches interview today. The infield defense, the outfield defense has just been something that's been remarkable. This team, sure, they have however many errors. I think it's 34 to this point. But this team has come up with great defensive plays game in and game out. As Marquez bats set for his 1-2, DiGiorno out towards right, chugging over in the corner goes Ross, and he's able to yank it out for the first out of the inning. DiGiorno comes up with an F9, and it'll be Aiden Stewart to bat next for Amsterdam. Stewart and Jake Sparks, the 7 and 9 hole hitters, two guys who Keith Griffin had noted on his lineup card as guys that need to improve their batting average, need to get hot. So Stewart going to look to do just that as he plays right field tonight here on the road. First pitch from Marquez. Stewart immediately turns on it out to center. Dale, easy F8. Took 2 steps in, reached up, and it was right there in his glove. So there's 2 quickly away ahead of Austin Fowley. Austin Fowley, the catcher tonight in this road affair at Oneonta. He's making his debut against Oneonta as he's the only guy of the 10 in the Amsterdam lineup who's yet to see at least 1 plate appearance against the Outlaw staff. First one, tips it straight on off the end of the bat, so it'll be 0-1. Logan Marquez, in his last appearance against Amsterdam, it was also his first appearance of the season, was back on June the 13th, went 2 innings, struck out 3, and he threw 19 pitches that night, 15 of which were for strikes. He worked out of that jam back in the first inning. 2 straight flyouts to begin this frame, and out to the right center gap, the 0-1 pitch. Going to roll all the way to the wall as Ross going to race to it. Pits up off the Country Club banner. Big turnaround second. All the way to third goes Austin Fowley as he slides in, and he's got a 2-out triple. That is definitely not what you wanted if you're Logan Marquez. You were couple good pitches away, or maybe even just 1 good pitch away from getting out of the second inning. But now you have the tying run 90 feet away as the Outlaws, just a 1-0 lead here in this top of the second. Jake Sparks going to settle into the box against Marquez as Sparks high in the air out towards left field. Brody Raleigh chugging on back, looking up, reaches over the shoulder, and he's got it. Brody Raleigh comes up with a huge catch out in left field. And that will strand Austin Fowley at third. To the bottom of the second we go here in Oneonta. Going to stay a 1-0 Outlaw score. Bottom of the second inning back here on Outlaws YouTube. Oneonta remains on top 1-0, and it's going to be Ryan King, Dylan Millman, and Chase Armstrong to bat against the power arm of Zach Eldred. Eldred turning around off the doubleheader against Albany, where he recorded a save the other day, getting the start tonight as that one pounded in high to the hand, so it'll be 1-0. King playing for just the second time against Amsterdam tonight. This game 4 of 4 in the season series as the 1-0 offering. Gonna drill him on the elbow. King gonna fire that bat away, clearly frustrated as he gets the easy free pass to first, but that one's probably gonna leave a bruise ahead of Dylan Millman.
The extra hitter from Marist, number 21, Dylan Millman.
Millman tonight, the extra hitter, and he was another guy. It was interesting the way the lineup got concocted yesterday and whatnot, because there were a few guys who were supposed to be in the lineup or who they wanted to get in the lineup yesterday, but Millman, one of those guys who they decided, yeah, let's wait and use him tomorrow against Amsterdam. And tonight he gets the extra hitter spot as King wants to run there at first. Millman taking ball 1. King always one of those feisty, speedy guys on the base paths, despite only having 3 stolen bags on the season thus far. Millman ahead, 1-0 in the count against Zach Eldred. As he takes a quick look over his shoulder to first. 1-0 offering, Millman lays off as he takes a strike 1 fastball. Millman's hitting .233 on the season thus far in 11 games played. With Marius' steep postseason run, all these guys, with the exception of Chris Hubner, got here a bit late, so it has factored in their games played, plate appearances totals, and all their stats. Eldred attempted to pick off to first, as you probably just saw, but there was nothing there. King always tight to the bag as the 1-1 skips off the plate. That's ball 2. Foley fired the mask off, making sure he could keep that one in front. Is the count going to be 2-1? Millman comes off an 0-for-1 day last Friday against Boonville. Had 2 walks and a strikeout. Also got caught stealing on the base pass. There's a quick check look over the shoulder again. 2-1 offering from Eldred way inside. That's ball 3. As Millman about took it off the chest. In that first inning, the Outlaws did get a run, courtesy of an RBI sat fly from Colton Harrison, if you're just dropping by to join us. Hits are 1 apiece as we get another mound visit for the second consecutive inning. Eldred, one of the few two-way players on this Mohawks roster, as he not only does it on the pitching standpoint, but he also does it at the plate. His 21 games at the dish, he's got a .350 average. Also has 9 extra base hits, 7 doubles, a triple, and a homer. So a do-it-all type guy on the hill tonight for Amsterdam. Certainly one of the PGCBL candidates to be Shohei Ohtani. As King diving down headfirst in the second, and he's safe. So he gets a bag as the count goes full on Millman. Ryan King runs his way into scoring position. And now Dylan Millman, who's known around the clubhouse as Millie, going to look to try to drop a hit in with Amsterdam's outfield set up back. So the count full. King now at second, still nobody away. Bottom second. King testing his lead as the payoff. Low and in. That's ball 4. And back-to-back Outlaws going to reach for the second consecutive inning. King gets it started with a hit by pitch. Millman draws the walk. And now Chase Armstrong going to come to the plate. Armstrong, the only switch hitter in this Outlaw lineup. Only switch hitter on the roster at that. Opts to take this at bat from the left side against the righty in Eldred. Eldred working out of a stretch position with 2 on base. Fires this one in as Armstrong slaps the bunt down the third baseline. Fielded by Sparks to Dion at first. And that will be a productive out for Chase Armstrong. 5-3 will score it. But King gets to third. Millman over to second with now 1 down. Jeremy Taggart going to roll into the box as the 9-hole guy. Talked about it back in the first inning, but he's got family in the stands tonight. Made the trip up from Levittown, New York tonight to watch him. here against Amsterdam. His parents and his grandparents sat on a blue bench right behind home, and it was a privilege to get to meet the Taggarts before we started this game tonight. Great family, and certainly raised a great son in Jeremy, as he's been a pleasure to have around this Outlaw team this summer. First one, Taggart lays off as it's a called strike one. Eldred racking up some good velo on that fastball, as I was listening to the few of the Mohawks shouting behind home back in that first inning, and they were saying that he's touching the low 90s tonight. So the count 0-1. Kane's now at third. Millman's at second after the productive bunt from Chase Armstrong. Taggart lays off as that one skipped a few feet in front of the plate to even this count at 1-1. He is looking for his first hit of the summer against Amsterdam, as he's a combined 0 for 6 with a run, a walk, and 4 strikeouts in 2 games played. Played once at Amsterdam, and he was the catcher of record the last time the Mohawks were here, and only time the Mohawks have been here prior to tonight, way back on June 13th. Took a huge hack and got nothing but air, so the count going to be 1-2. Overall, the season series does favor the Mohawks 2-1. As Oneonta took the season series opener back on June the 7th, 10-4, and since the Mohawks striking back with 2 consecutive wins, June 13th and 15th, so it's been a while since these two East Division rivals have faced each other. Almost a month. It would be a month on Monday. 1-2 on Jeremy Taggart. Is Zach Eldred back ready? Kicks and delivers. Taggart a swing and a miss, as he goes hunting that curveball down and away, and there's 2 outs for Owen Burnsworth.
Number 6, Owen Burnsworth.
Owen Burnsworth drawing back into the lineup tonight for the first time in a minute. He's played just 10 games, and his last outing was up at Glens Falls. That 7-6 heartbreaking loss in 10 innings last Saturday night for this Outlaw club. Burnsworth, whenever he's in there, he's been in the 9th and 10th holes, as he lays off the first one, in tight to the belt for ball 1. Burnsworth has been in the 9th spot just once, and in the 10 hole for the other 9 games that he's played. Overall, 4 for 24, which is good for a 167 average, something he's looking to change here in this back part of the schedule. 1-0 from Eldred, swing and a miss, as Burnsworth unable to connect with the fastball. Eldred, you can tell he's getting some good velocity and good movement on that fastball, and he's trying to pound the lower outside corner with it too. Lights have come on here at Damaschke Field in this bottom of the second. 1-0 lead for the Outlaws, 1-1. Right up off the plate for ball 2, as it certainly sprayed up some dust. It's Casella night here at Damaschke Field, also the Morris Little League in attendance. So big game and a big crowd, which you love to see for a Saturday night game with just a couple weeks remaining in the regular season. Outlaws beginning a 3-game homestand tonight, as they'll also be back here on Monday for Depot Wing night against Mohawk Valley, as well as Tuesday night against Utica. We got our off day tomorrow, and we got our golf tournament over at Olet Golf Course, which we'll talk more about later on. 2-1 as Eldridge kicks and fires. Burnsworth takes it for a strike 2. As he goes backdoor slider to get himself 1 strike away from getting out of the second inning. Outlaws just 1 hit on the ball game so far, which was a single from Matt Carrera, but they have the first run across here against the top team in the league. 2-2 pitch, up and in, high to the head as it's ball 3, backing Burnsworth up. We'll get a payoff offering before we go back to the top of the lineup. Jaden Ross waiting on deck. As there's 2 in scoring position for the Outlaws. King's at third, Millman's at second. As Eldred, bat set from the stretch, deals the swing and the miss. As Burnsworth can't connect on the fastball. So that will strand 2 Outlaws in scoring position. That leaving guys on base curse for Oneonta continues. It's to the third we go. Gonna stay 1-0 Outlaws.
Four straight, the sigh in the delivery, skied in the air out towards left field. Harrison's drifting over to the corner, and he's got it in fair territory for the first time in almost 2 years. The Outlaws have defeated the Mohawks as they win this one by a 10-4 score here at Amsterdam.
Well, Jordan Goebel and I, before we did our pregame interview of the day, was catching up with him a little bit, as haven't had the opportunity to talk too much to him the last few days. Well, we went to Utica yesterday, but he spent the game down in the bullpen. I was in the dugout, and before that, we had our lawn break. So been a minute since I had a chance to speak to Goebel, and one of the first questions I asked him, man, are you going to pitch tonight? And he said, boy, I certainly hope so. And yes, Jordan Goebel is going to pitch tonight. He's out of the bullpen, the first arm behind Logan Marquez on this staff day for the Outlaws pitching staff, as he goes 10-1-2 here in this third inning against this Mohawk roster. Sebastian Harden in the box as Goebel goes fastball down and away to start the inning. Harden, another one of those guys, hoping he can get his RBI number up moving forward. But leading off an inning like this, it's hard to do that as he bounces one towards short. Carrera going to field, loses the hat. Armstrong with a good pick, but going to be an infield single for Sebastian Harden, who was bulleting himself down the line. So 2 pitches is all it takes for Sebastian Harden from Coastal Alabama North to get on base against Jordan Goebel. And now we'll go back to the top of the Mohawks order. Javar Williams, who already has reached base 6 times in just 2 games, entering tonight against Outlaw pitching staff in the box, showing bunt as he pulls it back, taking ball 1. That Will Forrest King in from third base. Primarily, Ryan King of URI is a middle infielder, but he's been forced to play some third due to injuries and circumstances. Also wanting to give himself some more versatility as Taggart about lost the mask. Down to second, they get the caught stealing. Jeremy Taggart going to be a 2-6 as they throw out Harden at the second base bag. Took a late jump off of first, and Sebastian Harden going to get gunned down for it. Do not run on Outlaws catchers because that will happen. 1-1, now going to be the count on Williams. As Goebel, looking from the stretch, fires. Williams shoots one up behind home. Taggart looking up, but it'll drop into the seats. So it'll be 1-2 as we had an old fan who's sitting behind home plate getting all excited to catch that ball, and he dropped it, but everybody giving him cheers, which you'll love to see. It's always a great atmosphere at Damaschke Field to catch a ball game. And Monday night, you'll get another chance on Depot Wing Night as the Outlaws take on Mohawk Valley, 7 o'clock. 1-2 pitch. Williams straight up the middle past Goble's head. He wanted that one. Dale going to play it as Williams going to have himself a one-out single. Absolute nuke off the bat that Goble had to duck away from. He would rather have flipped it off the glove than taken it off his face. So glad to see Goble's all right as Williams going to be on base with one away here in the top of the third for his two-hole guy and Rob Rispoli. Goble overall entering this outing an 0-1 record, and it's crazy. He's got a 10.60 ERA. Goble, comebacker right to him, goes to Armstrong. So they force out Rispoli 1-3, and he does advance Williams to second base. It only took one hop to get to Goble. It was pretty interesting. It was almost like Rispoli was trying to hit it into the ground. But Goble's got the reflexes like a ninja out there on the hill and comes out with that one to make it 2 outs for Jetson to Tilly to bat. That 10.60 ERA that Goble has only really got inflated courtesy of a bad outing last time this team faced Amsterdam, when one inning took the loss in that 11-4 game as he gave up 6 hits, 5 runs, 5 of those earned with a walk and a strikeout, but bounced right back in his next outing, which we'll talk about coming up here. So the count 1-0 on the Tilly. Big lead for Williams. Is this one an elevator shot going to get up and hit the roof above our press box area to make the count 1-1. That was certainly scary. Didn't know where that ball had gone, but it drops on the roof and rolls behind us. So the count going to be at 1-1. Quick look over the shoulder down to second as Goble is 1-1 off the elbow guard, and the Tilly, that one's got to stay. Goble is going to sling him with one, and so it'll be 2 on base for the Mohawks with 2 away. Ahead of Cade Ladehoff. Ladehoff, I mentioned it in his first at bat, but he's not only the Mohawk team leader in batting average, he's also the league leader in batting average. Saugerties had the league leader in batting average until Ethan Conrad opted to go to the Cape Cod League. First pitch hacking out towards left. Raleigh charging. Looks up as it drops behind him. Rolls all the way to the wall. Williams going to score. Waved around. Jetson to Tilly going to follow him in. And it's going to be 2-1 Mohawks here in the top of the third. Cade Ladehoff comes out with a big 2-out, 2 RBI double. And Jimmy Dion now going to get a chance to bat. That was far from what Jordan Goble would have wanted to begin his outing. Amsterdam last time probably gave him nightmares with those 6 hits and the 1 walk, as well as the 5 runs scored against him. And now Amsterdam immediately played in a 2 spot against Goble here in this top of the third. That one going to come in above his shoes, so it'll be ball 1. Last outing, we talked about it, he bounced back though. It's been a minute. July 1st, 3 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. It was earned with a strikeout, facing 13 Rapids in the 9-4 loss here at home. Goble 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss as he goes fastball to catch Dion off guard. So the count's now 1-1 for the first baseman, who struck out swinging on 3 pitches against Logan Marquez back in that first inning. Goble, toast pointed square to third, swing and a miss again as that one caught off that lower outside corner to get Goble 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning. Outlaws hoping they can get back to the plate in the bottom of the third and do some damage. Just the 1 run so far, which was courtesy of a sac fly. Now 2 runs on 4 hits for the visitors. As Goble looking out towards second, the 1-2 pitch, skips in the dirt a few feet in front of home. Taggart used the chest protector to keep it in front. So they'll go to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Goble 5'9", 150. And you heard him talk about pregame, his experiences at Herkimer, as well as his time here as an Outlaw. He is a returner for this team. 2-2, right off the middle of the bat and back into the little netting behind home. So he'll hang alive. I guess I shouldn't call it little because it stretches all up and down the first and third base lines post-COVID here at Damaschke. Didn't used to be that way, but Damaschke's undergone some renovations over the last several years. Coble with his head turned to second. Looks home with this one. Is his 2-2. Drilled out towards short. Carrera ranging in. Fires to first, high but in time. 6-3. They send down Jimmy Gion. They strand Cade Latterhoff at second, but not before Amsterdam plates 2. To the bottom of the third we go. The Mohawks going to have a 2-1 lead. Time is winding down to apply for Oneonta Outlaws junior reporter. You saw the graphic on the screen. If you've wanted an opportunity to interview head coach Keaton Mark or your favorite Outlaw, make sure you head over to Oneonta Outlaws social medias or our website where the link to apply is posted, because I will be picking and notifying the winners on Monday. So less than 48 hours to go, because the winners will find out Monday morning. With Jaden Ross now in the box to lead off here the bottom of the third against Zach Eldred. Eldred kicks and fires. Is that one going to be a called strike one? It's a known fact now around the clubhouse. Jaden Ross in his final days here in Oneonta, as he's going to be heading back to Florida early on this coming week. Got to get in the gym and get some lifting in, as Eldred looking towards third as the 0-1 bounced in front of home to make it 1-1. Jaden Ross in that first inning took a walk and came in to score the only Outlaw run thus far. His team is now 14-13-2, and you saw it on the standings board, now fifth in the division as the 1-1. Going to be just above the plate for ball 2. Eldred trying to keep locating his pitches. That's one thing that he's been praised about for this team so far, how well he locates everything that he's got in his arsenal. And now comes in high with strike 2. That's one of those primo, gotta sell it strike pitches on the corner of the zone. I mean, Austin Foley certainly had that one with a great framing. Even if it had been a couple inches high above what this home plate umpire had wanted, Foley sold it. 2-2 from Eldred. Ross out towards left field. Where's this one going to go? It's shallow. It's going to drop in. Rispoli able to make the play. So it's actually a shortstop pop-up. Let's put it in your book as a P6 ahead of Matt Carrera.
Next up, the shortstop from Hudson Valley Community College, number 46, Matt Carrera.
Earlier on, we flashed our graphic for the games that are going on around the PGCBL tonight. In the 4th inning, we'll get our first look of the day in terms of the scores. Trying to incorporate some new stuff later on here in the season and see what's working and what's not, and trying out some new graphics and hoping that you're all enjoying the show here on YouTube. Got to see what's working and what's not ahead of next year, as we certainly don't want to talk about that too early, but can never be too prepared too soon, as Carrera going to drop behind 0-1 after his foul nuke. Carrera with the lone outlaw hit on the board so far as he singled in the 1st inning. Playing his 2nd time tonight against the Mohawks, as he went 1 for 4 back here on June the 13th and takes one high and up off the upper outside corner to even the count out at 1-1. We are lucky that a few Cooperstown All-Star Village kids have come out here to Damaschke Field tonight to catch this game as well. Many of these outlaw players umpire at the All-Star Village, so some kids recruited to come to games that way, as Carrera taking one low and away off the plate, making the count 2-1. All these guys talk about how much umpiring not only helps their well-being, helps them stay active, helps them stay busy, but they also talk about how much it helps them as ball players. It's the 2-1. Going to go just up off the plate for ball 3. Chase Armstrong, Colton Harrison, too, I've particularly talked about it with, how they talk about how it's helped them in terms of their own strike zone and what to hunt at the plate. Just interesting to hear everybody's perspective on something that's certainly fun. It's 3-1, out to the gap in left center, drops in front of Javar Williams. So Carrera is going to have himself a 2-for-2 start to the night. Talk about putting it on a swivel. Matt Carrera's done it twice. And now Jacoby Dale will get a chance to bat. Dale reached on a fielder's choice on a 0-1 pitch back in the 1st inning as he had Carrera forced out at 2nd in front of him on a 6-4 put away. Mohawks infield wanted the double play, but just couldn't get it around the horn. 6-4-3 in time. Off of first is Matt Carrera as the offering from Eldred. Going to be a called strike on the upper outside edge. Dale's playing Amsterdam for just the 2nd time tonight. It is on June 15th, the last meeting between these two. He went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts in Oneonta's 8-1 loss that evening. Over the shoulder, the 0-1 pitch. Drilled out towards third. Sparks with a quick turn to 2nd. Trying to turn it around the horn. Not going to be there. So that's 2 straight fielder's choice reach for Jacoby Dale as he's able to beat that one out down the line. So Matt Carrera forced out in front of Jacoby Dale back-to-back times. That one, the 5-4, as it's third base to 2nd. And now Colton Harrison going to look to get his first hit of the evening. Sparks is at 3rd, Rispoli's at short, DeJourno man 2nd, and Dion's at 1st for the Mohawk infield. Foley's behind the plate, and left to right in the outfield, it's Hardin, Williams, and Stewart. First offering to Harrison, skied up in foul territory, first base side. Dion looking up, yanks it out of the lights, and that will be a 1-pitch, 1 out to retire Harrison. Dale going to be left at first as the Outlaws have stranded 4 through the first 3 frames. To the top of the 4th we go. Going to stay 2-1 Amsterdam.
First base is Jaden Omer. Bucher hit home Kevin Denty on an RBI single to make it a 1-0 game. Bucher fakes a takeoff, and Kempler deals to Partridge. Partridge hits that one out into right center field. Left center field, the left fielder makes the catch. It's a great reaching grab from Hopko. Didn't have to hop for that one, but full extension over the shoulder catch to end this inning. And he deals home to Partridge, who shows bunt, and it's a nice one. Hayner fields and fires. That ball is going to be in there. Partridge can't reach on the bunt. It was a lovely idea, but a good scoop from waiting at first. Gets him to ground out on a 1-3.
Well, the runners on base problem that has plagued this Outlaw squad going to continue. 4 left on base for the first 3 innings. Jordan Goebel going to go just 1 inning. He gets charged for the 2 runs and 3 Mohawks hits, as well as a hit by pitch in that top of the 3rd. And the next man out of the Oneonta pen on the staff day going to be none other than Evan Staroba. Staroba, 0-0 record, 5.25 ERA. He's pitched in 7 games for this Outlaw squad so far. 12 innings total, giving up 8 hits, 10 walks, but he does have a remarkable 20 strikeouts. Throwing for the first time since the last Saturday night up at Glens Falls when he went 3 1/3. Got yanked in that 9th inning before things kind of went off the rails in that one, and the Outlaws taking that 7-6, 10-inning heartbreaking loss to the Dragons that they're still trying to get past. Wednesday night was the first action that this team had had since Saturday, and it was a 4-0 score against Glens Falls when things had got suspended. As the first pitch of the inning to DiGiorno, going to be a called strike 1 as Staroba goes to his off-speed stuff. So, yeah, that game against Glens Falls, a suspended game, will be picked up when the Dragons are back here on the 24th. As the 0-1, DiGiorno not going to offer at it, and the count going to even up at 1-1. So we'll pick things up bottom of the 4th, bases loaded for the Outlaws with 1 out, and then we'll play a full 9-inning game that night. Staroba with his 1-1 working quickly. DiGiorno, shallow ball out towards first, and it's caught by Armstrong. So it'll be a P3 for the first out of the inning. Following that Wednesday game, Outlaws turned around and got an off day on Thursday. And then last night up there in Utica, a 2-1 loss. It's another one of those games, and talking to some of the guys on this team, they'd certainly like back because the Outlaws did have their chances late in that game against the Blue Sox. As this one going to be a strike 1 to Aiden Stewart. Stewart takes a fastball down and away to start this at bat. First time up, he swung at the first pitch, sent one on an F8 to center, and now the count going to draw even as Taggart able to keep it in front. He's been playing solid defense behind the plate for the Outlaws so far tonight. Had a caught stealing back in that 3rd inning. Gunning down Sebastian Harden at second. Staroba's 1-1, another fastball, going to make the count 1-2 as he's worked ahead on 2 consecutive batters to start his outing. Oneonta pen is quiet, and we will have a special guest joining us in the bottom of the 4th inning here on the broadcast. As that one going to be ball 2 to even the count at 2 apiece. Amsterdam, the 2-1 lead against the Outlaws here on the top of the 4th on Casella night at Damaschke. Staroba with his 2-2. Down and away, a called strike 3. 2 up, 2 down for Evan Staroba. And now Austin Foley. Austin Foley is a redshirt freshman at Ole Miss. He stands at 6'2", 190 in the box. Also plays some infield when he's not behind the dish, as this one straight behind home to make the count 0-1 on the foul tip. He was the one who had the 2-out triple that kept that inning going in the 2nd before Jade Sparks flew out to left field and Logan Marquez's day was done. 0-1, great breaking pitch for a called strike 2, and now Staroba needs just one more to get out of this 4th inning. Staroba going to look on home. His 0-2 pitch. Going to plunk Austin Foley on the upper back of the jersey. And so that will keep the inning going for Jake Sparks. Jake Sparks is another one of these guys who's certainly got a wide skill set for Amsterdam. You see him up there pelting extra base hits as he has 6, which, believe it or not, is 7th on this team, as he shoots one up diagonal over the screen and out to the parking lot on the 3rd base side. Is the count going to be 0-1? The Mohawks, the leaders in the PGCBL in extra base hits. Team leaders in doubles and homers. Only area that they don't have a team beat is Auburn beating them out in triples. As the 0-1 called strike 2 on the lower outside corner. And now again, Staroba needs just one more to get out of this 4th inning down by just a 2-1 score. Staroba 0-2. Tip straight on back again, so that keeps the inning alive. When the Outlaws get back to the plate in the bottom of the fourth, it will be Brody Rowley, Ryan King, and Dylan Millman to bat. Sparks coming off a pinch running appearance against Glens Falls, 10-2 victory the other day. Also had a walk as he replaced their DH late in the game. 0-2, low and away. Staroba can't sell it on his slider. Is the count going to be 1-2? Staroba, wide variety in terms of his offerings. Hoping that he can get one more strike, end this top of the fourth here. On the run, down to second. Called strike 3, so Taggart not even going to have to go for the throw. Sparks going to be rung up courtesy of the backwards K, and they strand another on base as the Mohawks have left 5 themselves on base through the first 3.5 frames. When we come back in the bottom of the fourth, a special guest going to take over our broadcast. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the broadcast, guys. This is Ethan Glossa joining you now. We do have a new pitcher for Amsterdam, Peyton Fall.
To the plate from Western Carolina, number 5,
Up to bat, Brody Riley. Peyton Fall comes into this game, pitching 4 appearances, 6.75 ERA, 5 strikeouts, 4 walks, and 3 hits. First pitch called strike on Brody Riley. Pitch is on his way. Pieced out to center field, high and deep, but it is going to be caught by the center fielder. He was hunting that fastball, and he got it. Just a tick under it. Could not shoot it in the gap. Up to bat now, we have Ryan King out of Rhode Island. King in his last at bat was hit by a pitch. Swing and a miss on a fastball, low and away. Pitcher comes set. Breaking ball for a ball. We have a 1-1 count here on King. The pitch. Swing and fouled back on a fastball. We have a 1-2 count on Ryan King. We're hoping we could get something going in the bottom of the fourth right here. The pitch. Taking ball. Change up away. We have a 2-2 count on Ryan King. Looking to do some damage right here. Swing fouled back again on a breaking ball. King's putting up a good fight right now. Hopefully we can get this inning going and put a few more runs on the board. The 2-2 pitch. About to be on its way. Swing and a miss by King. Now 2 down with Dylan Milliman up to bat.
The extra hitter representing Marist, number 21, Dylan Millman.
Millman walked in his first plate appearance this game. We're looking to get something going with 2 outs tonight. Pitch is in, taken for ball 1. Pitch is on its way. Ball 2 skips to the plate. Two-0 count here on Dylan. Swing and a miss, high fastball. 2-1 count here. The pitch. Ground ball to shortstop, and he makes it out. Thank you guys for tuning in. Greatly appreciated.
After 4, 2-1.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call the glow show. Ethan Glossa up here for our bottom of the fourth inning as we roll back into the top of the fifth. Evan Staroba going to remain out for a second consecutive inning after the Outlaws go down 1-2-3. Peyton Fall coming out of the bullpen and looking remarkable in that fourth inning. Staroba right on in. And it looks like that's going to be off the back of the leg. So a hit by pitch going to start this fifth inning. Sebastian Harden on base. Got to give a big kudos to Amsterdam. We did it in our Oneonta Outlaws game day video the other day, but this team picked up their 1,000th franchise win in game one against Albany on Wednesday. Right before the bid storms came, they moved up their start time, played a doubleheader starting at 12:30 as Williams threw the bunt in foul territory. So it'll be a 0-1 count. Was a 3-2 score in game one as they won it in the seventh, 2-2 tie, and managed to get a run courtesy of a small ball. Got a single, got a deep fly ball that advanced, threw a bunt in there, and then came up with a clutch hit to get the job done as it was Javar Williams who threw that bunt down in that seventh inning. Is his 0-1. He again can't get it down as Taggart lost sight, otherwise he might have had a play as it drops to 0-2. So the Mohawks, their 1,000th win in franchise history. That started way back in 1978. Some of these programs, like in Oneonta Outlaws, didn't join summer collegiate stage of things until 2010, but 1978 Amsterdam has certainly been around, and they've done well all throughout the years. Slap tag on it first, not going to be in time to get Harden. So they'll drop to 0-2. Always nice to get our special player takeover for a half inning, and hope you enjoyed Glossa tonight. It's the 0-2, up and away, going to make it 1-2. Behind Williams in this fifth inning for Amsterdam, it's going to be Rob Rispoli, Jackson Natilli. Quick check look over the shoulder for Staroba as he offers the 1-2. Belted high out towards center field. Jacoby Dale chugging on back, looks up, pulls it out of the lights as that'll be a deep F8 for out one. Rob Rispoli going to come up next here for Amsterdam. He's been on base once. Was hit by a pitch in the first and then grounded out 1-3 in the third. So he loves the odd innings tonight as it'll be a 1-3-5 line for him first three at bats. And he's seen three different pitchers as well. First at bat was against Marquez, then he saw Goebel, and now it's Staroba as Taggart, another gun throw to second tag, not going to get slapped down as Burnsworth was over quite a bit from the second base bag, couldn't drift himself back in time, So Harden going to run himself into scoring position. He's at second with one down here, top five. Count now 2-1 as Staroba checks and fires. Swing and a miss as he goes fastball to even the count back up at one apiece. Staroba wears the 15 out there on the hill for this Outlaw team. Was in the home whites with the orange Outlaws, orange numbers, and black shoulders here at home. 1-1. Called strike two on the upper outside corner. Staroba once again goes to his off-speed stuff. Staroba hoping he could get one more of those and put down Rob Rispoli here in this fifth. Oneonta does have a couple guys out and stretching in the pen now as the 1-2. Belted straight up the middle on the backhand, knocked down by Burnsworth to first. Out! A very dramatic call, 4-3. Rob Rispoli going to be forced out, but he does advance Sebastian Harden 90 feet. So the Mohawks going to have their third run 90 feet away ahead of Jetson Natilli. Natilli reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning, was hit by a pitch in the third, also came in to score as the Mohawks put up two on Jordan Goebel with a breaking pitch. A called strike one on Natilli. Natilli 2 for 3 with a run scored last time these two met up on June the 15th as the 0-1 Came in tight to his elbow, and it draws back even at 1 apiece. Behind the Tilly, if they need him in this half inning, it will be Cade Ladahoff, who's got just the DH duties for this Mohawk club tonight. 1-1 pitch. High out towards the left center gap. Who's going to make a play on this one? It will be Dale. It's right in front of the American flag. He pulls it in the glove. F8 going to be how you score that one. 3 in a row retired after the leadoff hit by pitch for Sebastian Harden. Into the bottom of the 5th we go as we're now halfway home with a 2-1 Mohawk score. Bottom of the 5th inning, and our score going to stay 2-1. Peyton Fall remains on the hill. Had a great introduction for Fall from none other than the man, the myth, the legend, the guy we called Low back in that bottom of the 4th. Armstrong up for his second at bat. Huge swing and a miss as Fall gets him looking for a fastball. Armstrong had the big hit that certainly put the icing on the cake or grazed the icing across the cake in that Outlaw win at Amsterdam to begin the season series. 0-1, sails in head high, makes the count 1-1. As Oneonta already had a 4-0 lead with 2 away in the top of the 1st in that one. Armstrong fell down in the count 1-2, and then he bulleted a triple out all the way to the fence at Shuttleworth into left field, cleared the bases, made the score 7-0. Now takes another ball in just shy of the letters on his jersey, and so it'll be a 2-1 count. Behind him in this 5th inning, it will be Jeremy Taggart and Owen Burnsworth, and we're an inning late, but coming up we are going to run through your out-of-town scores. 2-1 from Falls, up and in, called strike 2. And Armstrong not going to love that one, but takes the call nonetheless. Seemed like that pitch was quite a bit up off the plate. As Fall going to kick and deliver the 2-2. Armstrong with a high shot left side of the infield, drifting over. Sports going to make the catch just to the left of the mound. So it'll be and now Jeremy Taggart's going to bat. Running through the PGCBL out-of-town scoreboard, we do have a couple of double headers tonight. Final in Game 1 in Elmira, Newark takes down the Pioneers 14-3. Game 1 of the doubleheader between Albany and Mohawk Valley goes to the Diamond Dogs 6-1. First one to Taggart, going to be a ball up and away, 1-0 count. Non-league game out at Sal Adley Stadium in Niagara Falls, Rochester Ridgeman and the Americans. That was a 6:35 start. They were playing just 7 innings, so they should be done or getting close to done. As the 1-0, Taggart went for the fastball and couldn't connect, so it evens back at 1-1. Top of the 6th inning in Batavia, the Mutt Dogs lead the Red Wings 4-0. Top of the 4th in Boonville, the Lumberjacks looking to thwart Utica's streak as it's a 5-2 game. Up and away, that one's going to go as Taggart lays off the slider. It's a 2-1 count. The Blue Sox, you might have caught it on our standings board earlier, moved up to third in the division with their victory over the Outlaws last night, as well as the loss for Saugerties. 2-1, up and away, ball 3. So 3 straight balls taken by Taggart after he falls behind 0-1. Here, of course, your score 2-1. Top of the third in Glens Falls, Saugerties has the lead on the Dragons 2-1. In the 4th inning in Auburn, 2-0 Tarpscunts as Taggart and caught nothing but air, so the count's gone full. Bottom of the 1st inning between Mohawk Valley and Albany in Game 2, in OO game in Newark and Elmira's Game 2, going to get started shortly. So the payoff pitch from Falls, swing and a miss as Taggart. 3 swings and misses in that at bat, all are fastballs as we go down to Owen Burnsworth. Burnsworth struck out swinging back in the 2nd inning. And he's the 10-hole batter tonight, hoping that he can give this team a spark before going back to the top of the order. This game kind of similar to the way yesterday went. Utica did score first, though. This time around, Oneonta got the first jump, getting a run in the bottom of the 1st. Burnsworth lays off a slider out and away, so the count's going to be 1-0. Burnsworth, 2 strikeouts and 2 at-bats versus Amsterdam so far, as he had a strikeout in his lone plate appearance back on June the 15th. Takes another, and it'll be 2-0. If his number is called in this 5th inning, Jaden Ross taking some huge hats in the on-deck circle here for the Outlaws. Falls the 2-0 offering. Up and away, that one's going to go ball 3. Burnsworth 1 pitch away from getting himself on base. As he settles his batting helmet back on his head. Heavy action going on down in the Oneonta pen as the 3-0. Called strike on that lower in middle of the plate, tongue twister, to make it 3-1. Rocking from the stretch, Falls. Burnsworth straight on bat behind home, probably 20 feet high, as it's gone full. Outlaws trying to mount a comeback here in this one prior to their off day tomorrow and prior to the golf outing. Many of the Outlaws are going to be golfing amongst each other tomorrow, and everybody's buzzing about who's going to take the tournament. There are prizes. There's 12 teams. Prizes for the top 3. It's the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. Burnsworth went hunting for the fastball, and he's once again retired via the swinging K. To the top of the 6th we go here on Oneonta YouTube. Going to stay 2-1 Amsterdam. Oneonta rolls another arm out of the pen. This time it's going to be LIU's Lawrence Ellenson to begin this 6th inning. Outlaws have already buzzed through Logan Marquez, Jordan Goebel, as well as Evan Staroba. Marquez and Staroba going 2 innings apiece with Goebel an inning sandwiched between. Is now Ellenson hoping that he can go longer and certainly be more efficient than his last outing. Is his first offering to ladder off, straight on bat to the screen behind the plate to make our count 0-1. Ellenson, his last appearance was way back on July 2nd against Boonville. In the 12-9 loss, he threw 18 pitches, only 4 of which were strikes, as he walked 3 and gave up 2 runs, both of which were charged as earned. 0-1 pitch to Ladderhoff, out and away, ball 1. As it was low and just up off that plate. Ellenson apart with Nick Delvecchio of that LIU team that made a deep run into the College World Series. As the 1-1, out and away, just barely up off the plate again, 2-1. They pulled off one of the upsets of the year, defeating North Carolina down in Chapel Hill in the College World Series this year. As many of these Outlaw guys were watching LIU when they first rolled into town, because a couple of our LIU guys didn't get here until almost midway into June, as Ellenson skips one in the dirt, and that's ball 3. His first outing as an Outlaw was on June the 11th, which was the day after he got in, so that would make that a June 12th or June 10th arrival for Ellenson. Can't do math. Plus ones and minus ones. I guess they all string together in my head. As the 3-1 from Ellenson. Ladderhoff, opposite way. Armstrong going back at shallow right. Reaches up and he's got it. Cade Ladderhoff, a P3 for out number 1 here to begin the 6th. Looks like Amsterdam is going to go to a pinch hitter. As Jimmy Dion's day will be done with Steven Spalita coming in. So Dion goes 0 for 2 and looked like he did have a little bit of a rough time at first tonight. Just seemed like his accuracy or sightline abilities weren't quite there, and so he's yanked out of this game, and now we'll see if the Mohawks made some defensive changes with Spalita tipping one off the end of the bat to make the count 0-1. You do like to see, if you're Lawrence Ellenson, getting that first out to begin your outing, as after the way things went against Boonville, it had been a long time since he had recorded an out. So it's always a big confidence thing to get that out and bounce back. 0-1, swing and a miss as he went fastball down and away. Ellenson from Marlboro, New Jersey. One time he was telling me that he was hoping that he could have played summer ball a little bit closer to home, but does like it up here in Oneonta. Thinks it's a nice area, which seems to be the popular answer. Everybody finds quite a bit to do. As the 0-2, a few feet in front, skips in the dirt, and the count going to be 1-2. All these guys talk about the great fishing spots, with one being the pond that you may catch a glimpse of here or there out beyond the left field fence here in Newell Park. Great area to catch some fish. Didn't know there was some big ones in that pond, but some of the photos I've seen, some of these Outlaw players come up with some big mouth fish. Is that one going to miss low and away again to even our count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Also, not just fishing, golf a big one, and tomorrow's a golf outing. We've touched on it, but Outlaws have quite a few players that are going to be golfing in the tournament. I think there's only about a dozen or so that aren't. As teams kind of mixed with guys on the team as well as some parents and outsiders. Is that one going to clip the back of the knee of Spalita? And so he's going to take a hit by pitch with 1 away here in the 6th. Keaton Mark walks out of the dugout, and I think he wants an answer about this one, as it didn't look like that one touched Spalita. So that's why I was kind of confused why they gave him the first base bag. Our field umpire seems like he saw something different, but home plate umpire going to give him the benefit of the doubt as he already motioned him to first. So Amsterdam gets a free one, and we'll see if they do anything with it. Turned into another one of the pitchers duel type games here between Amsterdam and Oneonta. Lowest scoring affair to this point between these two this late in the ball game. First meeting was a 10-4 game. Second was an 11-4 game. And then the last one back in June was a 8-1 score. First one to DiGiorno, going to miss down and away for ball one. And some things just don't change no matter how long goes by. DiGiorno still rocking that sparkly black batting helmet for Amsterdam, just as he was back in the month of June. Got the purple and pink sparkles on the black. There's a little pickoff attempt to first. Diving back in was Spaletta. So they count 1-0 on Drake DiGiorno. Again, your score 2-1 in favor of the Mohawks here. Top six is Ellington trying to get out of trouble. DiGiorno gets rung up looking for one to make the count 1-1. Behind DiGiorno, Aiden Stewart going to bat for the Mohawks. As we've been scoreless since the top of the third when the Mohawks played at 2, courtesy of a 2 RBI double from Cade Lanoff. Down and away, Ellington couldn't locate his fastball over the plate, so the count's 2 balls, 1 strike. Amsterdam coming up after tonight. They are going to get an off day tomorrow, just as the Outlaws are, before they're at Utica on Monday for a 6:45 start. Turn around and host Mohawk Valley on Tuesday at 6:45, which is the start of a 4-game homestand. 2-1. Opposite batters box it goes, so 3-1 now going to be the count. DiGiorno 0 for 2, fly out to right and a pop out to first so far on the day. Trying to change his night with one swing of the bat as the Mohawks also have been held hitless for the last 2 innings after they put 3 up on Goebel in the third. Immediately on the run goes Spaletta, reaching up, caught by King, trying to double off Spaletta first. Armstrong slaps his foot on the bag, and that is a heck of a double play for the Oneonta infield. Ryan King with an ice cream-ish scoop at third, flips it to Armstrong, heads up, and that is going to be a 5-3 double play to get us to the bottom of the 6th. 2-1 Mohawks going to remain your score. Jaden Ross, what do you got in you here in the 6th inning? 1, 2, 3 to bat for your Outlaws. Is Peyton Fall going to remain out for a 3rd inning? First pitch, shot straight up over the screen, out of the parking lot. It's going to go, so it'll be 0-1 on Jaden Ross. Ross has reached base once tonight. It was a walk in the first. Also came in to score the Oneonta run before he popped out to short his last time up. 0-1 from Falls. Sprays up dust as it was behind the plate in the dirt, so 1-1. Ross trying to string together some hits here and stay hot after a 2-hit night yesterday at Utica. Hadn't had a hit in 2 games. This is 1-1. Up and into the hands for ball 2. I think that's the reason why they elevated him to the leadoff spot tonight, try to keep his confidence up and give him the opportunity to try to hopefully get hot here before he heads back to Tampa to get in the weight room. We are going to get a mound trip from Amsterdam, which is the perfect opportunity with the count 2-1 on Ross to talk you through our East standings. We flashed it up a couple of times, but the Amsterdam Mohawks, 26-5, as they've really gotten it together after starting 4-2. As since then, they've gone 22-3. Saugerties in second, 21-8-2, and they have the lead in Glens Falls right now. Utica moving 5th to 3rd in the span of just 3 days. 18-14-1 are they. Mohawk Valley is 15-13-3, and they're going to be in here to see the Outlaws on Monday, and what'll be a critical game for those 3, 4, 5 spots in the division. Oneonta 14-13-2. Watertown's gone on a heater. They're 14-17. Boonville's 9-18. In 8th is Albany, 8-19-1. And then Glens Falls is going to be 5-23-1 in the 9 spot. So the count stays 2-1 as Falls bats set. He deals. Up and in for ball 3. Ross 1 pitch away from taking a second walk here in this game. As Falls rots and delivers in tight to the elbow for ball 4. That's the second free pass that Ross has taken in this game, and also the first man to reach against Fall. Matt Carrera gonna roll up with 1 on and nobody out. Carrera is 2 for 2 on the game. Paris singles in the 1st and 3rd as he has the only 2 Outlaw hits to this point on the board. Amsterdam, 2 runs on 4 hits. The Outlaws, 1 on 2. As Carrera going to take ball 1 up and away. They are pitching to Carrera, which is interesting because sometimes you see Amsterdam on a night like this where you have a guy, a couple of hits, his first time's up, a man on base, and some wiggle room. But it is just a 1-run game, so I guess the intentionally walk with nobody out might hurt you more than it would help you. Count going to draw back even as Carrera took a fastball. All these coaches in this league have very different approaches in terms of how they attack things and how they navigate game situations. Counts 2-1 on Carrera, who takes a fastball up and away. Behind Carrera, Jacoby Dale waits in the on-deck circle, and also, more likely than not, we'll see Colton Harrison in this half inning as well, the DH. Outlaws with action down in their pen as the 2-1. Straight on back into the screen behind home, so it'll be 2-2. Looked like Falls starting to trickle down a little bit here in this inning. Got off to a red-hot start, saw Sitch, retired Sitch, and now Jaden Ross on first, courtesy of a walk. And you got Carrera up at the plate, who's making this thing a battle. Fall with a long glance to first. His 2-2. Carrera takes it up and away, as that one's for the Birds, ball 3. Fall, his longest outing on the season so far is just 2 innings. Is on July 3rd at Glens Falls in his second to last appearance. He struck out 5 batters of the 6 that he saw in the 13-3 victory. Checklet to first. Fall going to come ready with a payoff. Up and away again. Back-to-back walks by the Outlaws, top of the order. So Jacoby Dale hoping that he can come up with a big hit. Leash is probably going to wind down on Peyton Fall as they have somebody absolutely cranking down in the bullpen at the moment. Mohawks pen, we remind you, in right field here at Damaschke, and the Outlaw pen in left. The Mohawks bullpen has been brilliant here in the month of July with an ERA just under 2. Looking at home, Jacoby Dale. Set in the box. He's been on base twice, courtesy of 2 fielders' choices, and he went hunting the fastball and got nothing but air, so it's 0-1. Carrera has been forced out in front of him both times on the base paths so far tonight. Carrera's at first. Ross is at second. It's with the count 0-1. Ross tempting fate. Up and away. That one's going to be another breaking pitch that can't locate the zone. In some situations, it almost seems like Peyton Fall going for a pitch out type play. And it looked like that could have been one of those, but Dale thought better of it. Is over the shoulder looking a second. Fall is 1-1. Swing and a miss. Jacoby Dale now down 1-2. All 3 pitches to Jacoby Dale so far have been high-speed stuff. 2 fastballs and a slider, the 2 fastest in Peyton Fall's arsenal, according to Perfect Game. He's from Dwaynesburg, so not too far down the road from Amsterdam. Always has a big crowd at Shuttleworth Park to watch him at home games when he gets the call. Pitched 2 games at home, and this is his 3rd appearance on the road and his 5th game of the season for this Mohawk staff. Amsterdam, it looks like, whoever that is they have down throwing is another lefty. Because that's one thing. This Outlaw team certainly doesn't see a lot of lefties, and Peyton Fall, as we said, and as you figured out, a lefty swinger, or a lefty hurler. 1-2 from the southpaw, up and away, ball 2. Dale trying to work another deep at bat against Keith Griffin, second arm of the evening after Zach Eldred went 3 innings to start this thing. Outlaws involved in their 2nd consecutive pitchers duel after a 2-1 loss a night ago up at Utica. Trying to bounce back and get just their 2nd win in the month of July is the 2-2. Both on the move as Dale down swinging, slap tag, not going to get in there. Ross up from 3rd. He's going to try and score here. Sliding in. He's able to cross the plate as we're going to be evened up at 2 apiece. Great heads-up base running from Jaden Ross. Ross coasts on in from 3rd to cross the plate, and Carrera advances up. So they complete the double steal, and Jaden Ross able to advance on the E2. And so the Amsterdam Mohawks will make a pitching change with this game now tied. Outlaws hoping that they could take the lead here against the Mohawks. 2-2 score, nobody out, Carrera at 3rd when we come back. One away here, bottom six, as we welcome you back to Damaschke Field. The Outlaws with a runner at third, Matt Carrera, as we'll introduce our new Mohawk arm here in just a moment. Colton Harrison going to try to give the Outlaws the lead here in home territory with the Mohawk defense drifting in a bit. Harrison going to take ball one up and away. Is the count going to be 1-0? Harrison did have that RBI back in the first inning. There's a lot of spin taken with that ball in the left hand. As Harrison, pitch swing and a miss, evens the count at 1-1. Parker Akins is the new pitcher for Amsterdam. This is his 8th appearance. He's 2-0 with a 1.63 ERA. And he has seen the Outlaws already this summer, so they know what they're getting into in facing him in this moment. 1-1 offering, up and away that goes. 2 balls and a strike. So they got to hope that Colton Harrison can find something deep within him to come up with a big hit or at least a deep fly ball. 2-1. Straight on back off the end of the bat as it's going to draw even to 2 balls and 2 strikes. It was quite the rough start to the inning for Fall. Couple of walks, got the double steal, also had the E2 behind the plate from Foley to get us where we're at now with Carrera at third and the game all tied up. Akins rots around as his 2-2. Swing and a miss as Harrison went going for that fastball. Foley with the throw down at first as that'll be swinging K in a 2-3. Great maneuver there by Foley to check the runner at third ahead of Brody Raleigh.
Coming to the plate, number 5.
After tonight, this Oneonta team will be back at home for 2 more games on this little 3-game homestand. Monday night, we're here against Mohawk Valley, 7 o'clock, Depot Wing Night. So come sample the great world-famous garbage wings. We got a little promo teaser for that that's going to be going out on our socials tomorrow. Had quite a great time recording that with Jaden Ross in the office this afternoon. It'll actually be his last game here on Monday night as well, so going to be a special one facing his former team before he heads on back to Florida. Outlaws certainly losing a few pieces here as the summer's gone on, and everybody's really stepped up and filled the holes the best they can, though. And Ross certainly going to leave a big hole in the outfield and in terms of the leadership group as Raleigh off the end of the bat shot that one off foul. Plenty of players in our pregame player interviews that you've probably seen have singled out Jay Ross as being one of the big leaders on this team. And so he's going to leave a big leadership hole that the Outlaws going to have to try to find a way to fill. Raleigh down in the count 0-1, and the last thing you want to do is strand a runner at third in a tie ball game as Akins up and away, just barely missing the zone. Amsterdam trying to roll again and get a 6th consecutive victory tonight. Outlaws trying to get their first win in 8 days and first win in their last 2+ games, with that suspended game against Glens Falls being the plus game. Raleigh ahead 2-1 on the pitch out. That's one thing that the Mohawks execute also successfully is that pitch out play. Try to toss him down and away or up and away and see if you can get the hitter reaching for one. But Raleigh knows better. He's been raised better. He's been taught better. Works with his dad quite a bit on his hitting. Also one of the guys who's always in the cage trying to get some extra swings in and get better is the 2-1. Skips off the plate for ball 3. Behind Brody Raleigh will be Ryan King here for Oneonta tonight. Outlaws before this half inning had not scored since the bottom of the first, so nice to crack the drought here against Amsterdam, something they had a hard time doing after scoring early in 2 of the 3 previous meetings. 3-1 from Akins. Called strike 2 as Raleigh didn't offer it the curveball. So the count is full, and the Mohawks with more action down in their bullpen. Akins once again spinning that ball around in his hand. Kits and looks on home as Raleigh on out towards the Outlaw pen. Goes off the netting. And so he'll see a 7th pitch of this at bat at bare minimum. Strikeout swing in the first, fly out to center in the 4th, and now looking for his first hit of the day in a huge spot. Payoff with now the half moon out high above right center field. Williams is pinched over from center into the right center gap. Is the 3-2. Raleigh loses the bat, and that ball going to send him down and out of this one. It'll be a swinging strikeout to end it as Parker Akins comes in and closes the door with 2 consecutive strikeouts. So we will go to the top of the 7th. Going to stay 2-2 here between Amsterdam and Oneonta. Lawrence Ellenson out for another inning as Aiden Stewart, Austin Foley, Jane Sparks going to bat here in the 7th. Ellenson got lucky courtesy of a 5-3 double play flipped by Ryan King after a hit by pitch on Steven Spolita back in that 6th. First offering of the inning, called strike on the lower outside corner. Stewart trying to rip up that batting average, and he's had a rough start to doing it tonight at least. Fly out to center and a backwards K. Coming in the 2nd and 4th. It's a 0-1. Up over the screen behind home, 0-2. Ellenson will readjust himself and try to settle back out on the mound. Outlaws just a couple weeks away from the playoff push. Also got a playoff hype video in the works at the moment. So we'll have that coming out here as we wind down in the regular season. Out to left field, this one's going to go. Chasing in, Brody Raleigh makes the play. And he makes it look easy on the can of corn.
Next up, the catcher from Ole Miss, number 24, Austin Foley.
Certainly a great time to be had by all if this Outlaw team can slide up a couple more places in the standings. 3 and 4 would get to host a playoff game, and the Outlaws currently sitting just on the outside of things. Game and a half back of third and half game of fourth, so certainly within striking distance with plenty of baseball still to be had. Foley, huge swing and a miss on the fastball, as it'll be 0-1. After the Outlaws get through this one tonight and the off day tomorrow, we're going to play 6 consecutive days, Monday to Saturday, get another off day, and then play 7 in a row to end the season. It's the 0-1, drilled out towards right field. Chasing over goes Jaden Ross, makes the play in the gap for the out. Reached up and he had it in the glove as there's 2 down. He covered quite a ways as Ross was over more towards that light pole in right field, a few feet shy of the foul pole, and went chasing it into the gap, and so there's 2 away for Jake Sparks. If Sparks is retired, we'll go to the stretch, and Ellenson will have thrown 2 innings, and just as I say that, gonna plunk Jake Sparks on the knee. So we'll go to Sebastian Harden. No hits recorded against Lawrence Ellenson, but he does have 2 HBPs to his stat line tonight ahead of Harden. Harden's been on base twice tonight, had a single in the third, also a hit by pitch in the 5th. Has a stolen bag as well as a caught stealing. As don't run on our Outlaw bat stops. They certainly have the cannons to throw you out. Jeremy Taggart and Darren Dangler have been racking them up here the last couple of weeks. Always got to give a shout out to the Dangler brothers, even though they unfortunately couldn't be with us tonight. For Russell Sage, they are working an event up at MVP Arena in Albany. Is that one back into the screen behind the plate? Going to make our count 0-1. Sage runs a booster light table for fundraisers and such, try to raise money to make sure they can go on their spring break trip down south and play ball. That's one thing that it goes towards. But they had a table at the Albany Firewolves lacrosse game tonight, so that's where the Danglers are at. Count 0-1. In the dirt, that one goes. Is the count going to be 1-1? Jade Sparks hanging pretty tight to the bag down there at first. Tie ball game here late in this one. Certainly not the spot Amsterdam probably thought they were going to be in coming here on the road. Ellenson steps off and attempts to throw. There's nothing there, just trying to keep his man honest. Ellenson will settle back on the hill with his toes looking to the plate. Not one of those righty pitchers who goes kind of square to third when he sets in, but more square to the plate. Is that one going to be up and away for the Birds? 2-1. This is the last time that these 2 teams will meet up here in 2024. Amsterdam has won 2 of the first 3. Outlaws won the first. Mohawks have the last 2. On the move, trying to get to second. The strike call and a Ted not going to be slapped down in time by Burnsworth. So Sparks will get a stolen bag, and the count's going to jump to 2-2 on Harden. Taggart, when he's not going for his Subway, he goes for a Moe's Chicken Bowl on a game day. Never got the chance to ask him what was his go-to today for this one. As it's 2-2, down and away, ball 3. Some of these guys on the days they know they're going to be in the lineup have a routine and are a little superstitious. Taggart certainly being one of them in terms of his food choices. Chicken bacon ranch sub from Subway or a chicken bowl from Moe's is what he always goes to. Ellenson over the shoulder, payoff offering, 3-2 count, 2 away. Low and away, that's ball 4. And Keaton Mark going to look down towards his pen. So it looks like his trust is going to be in Ellenson to close out this inning, or at least hopefully close out this frame. With Amsterdam going back to the top of their lineup with Javar Williams settling into the box. Williams, another guy who seeing different arms for another go-around. His fourth plate appearance, fourth different arm he's seen. Marquez, Goebel, and Staroba. And now he gets a taste of Ellenson here in the 7th inning. 2 on, 2 outs, 2-2 game. And Taggart and Ellenson having a little visit on the hill. Want to try to make sure they're in sync. Ellenson not even trying to hide what he's saying. Taggart at least shielding his mouth. As the two look like they finally got it together, and we'll see what happens next right here with you. Monday night, going to be depot wing night. Come sample the garbage wings. This will be free samples for everybody in attendance, or at least till we run out. Tuesday night, the Utica Blue Sox are here. Then Wednesday, we're going to turn around and go to Watertown. Thursday, we'll be at Mohawk Valley. Friday, we'll be at Glens Falls. And then Saturday, we're going to be back home again as Williams sitting on a liner out towards center. Going to drop in past the diving Burnsworth. Turning and coming on in. Sparks around third. Harden trying to score as well. Play to the plate. Going to get away from Taggart. Cruising around. Williams all the way to third. He'll hold up there. And it's now 4-2 Mohawks just like that. So we'll give a single to Javar Williams, who picks up 2 RBIs, but there is an error on the play as well. We'll give that one to be an E8. 4-2, Sparks and Harden both scoring, and you got to give Amsterdam props on the heads-up base running. As Ellenson now in this situation is in line for the loss, but the Outlaws have plenty of time to mount a comeback as we're just on the top of the 7th. First offering, swing and a miss, Rob Rispoli, as it'll be 0-1. Seems like Ellenson always gets into these situations where it's like a one-strike type thing, and all of a sudden things kind of come off the rails a little bit, and that's exactly what just happened. It's a 0-1, up and away, but a called strike nonetheless, 0-2. So Ellenson trying to fight right on back and get out of the 7th inning. He's got that light blue bat with a bit of brown halfway up the handle. 0-2. Down and away. Taggart wanted that call but didn't get it. 1-2. Outlaws definitely going to have some work to do in the bottom of the 7th after that 2 RBI hit by Javar Williams. Check look over to third, the 1-2. Bouncing ball towards third. King going to field it cleanly to Armstrong. The bullet yanks him off the bag and was a bit late as well. Another run is scored, and it's 5-2 with Rispoli getting a ribby. So it's an RBI single for Rob Rispoli. Javar Williams scores his 2nd run of the game, and Jackson Natilli now going to bat as Oneonta starting to get some action down in their pen and left. Natilli's been on base twice tonight. Fielder's choice and a hit by pitch. Takes a rip at one. Couldn't put it in play as it'll be 0-1. Rispoli getting his first hit of the day and first in 2 games as he was snapping a streak with that single. Ellenson's now allowed 3 in this frame, all of which have been charged as earned. This is 0-1. Straight on back into the screen behind the plate as he once again gets himself 1 strike away from getting out of this jam. An error apiece now on the scoreboard. In hits in favor of Amsterdam 6-2 as Carrera has the only 2 singles for Oneonta. Outlaws get some momentum with tying things up bottom 6, turn around, give up 3 to get us where we are now, 5-2. Is that one down and out? 1-2 going to be the count. Ellenson taking his sweet time out there on the hill. And now he's going to opt to step off. Certainly hoping that he can go back to LIU next year and get some big innings as a sophomore. Always hard at a school like that, especially a team that's going so deep, to get good innings late in the year. As the 1-2. Swing and a miss. He goes slider down and away. Natilli going to be fanned at that. To the bottom of the 7th we go. The Mohawks played 3 here, and it's going to be a 5-2 game. Williams comes up with a pair of ribbies. Rispoli comes up with one as well, and the Mohawks regain the lead in the top of the 7th if you're just dropping by to join us. 5-2 the score. Ryan King to lead off this bottom half of the 7th against Parker Aikens, who remains out after fanning 2 coming out of the pen in the 6th. King with a first pitch. Fly ball up behind home. Throwing off the mask was Foley, but he ran out of room, and so it'll be 0-1. He tried to chase it down, but when it gets over the screen, not much you can do, as there's no way to get around the big barrier, big wall you got back there. Aikens got Colton Harrison and Brody Rowley, both via swinging Ks, to end that 6th inning as he rots and delivers a 1 swing and a miss. King now 0-2. Talking to King yesterday, this guy, you got to give Ryan King props. Real team player. Jet Bateman had to leave this morning and go home for a family situation. King was supposed to be in the lineup yesterday, but knowing Bateman was leaving, he opted to give Bateman the game yesterday and push his game back to today. So King, an all-around good player, good person for this Outlaw club as he falls behind in this count 0-2. Pitch, shot on up. Left side of the infield in foul territory. Sparks looks up, got it in the glove. As he was a few feet to the left, the Oneonta dugout, and there's one down ahead of Dylan Millman.
Next up for your Outlaws, the extra hitter, number 21, Dylan
Outlaws do have action down in their bullpen. Maybe it is a good thing, even though, you never want to empty out your bullpen, use too many arms, but so many of these Outlaw pitchers haven't had mound time in quite some time, so giving everybody an inning or two here or there, not exactly the worst of ideas. But after tomorrow, everybody's got to be ready for the stretch run. 13 games over the last 14 days starting Monday. Is that one going to be in the dirt for ball 1? Millman, a walk in the 2nd inning. Then he grounded out 6-3 in the 4th. Is the 1-0 up and away, ball 2. So Millman certainly hoping that he can turn on a ball and get something going here for the Outlaws, who got to find a spark somewhere, down by 3. Played it to the tune of an interesting game so far, but can't fall apart and crumble now after that 3-run spot in the top of the 7th. 2-0 from Akins. Called strike, up and away. Akins stands at 6'1", 175, and he is well known by both Ryan King and Jack Kopko as he goes to URI. 2-1 from Akins. Swing and a miss to make it 2-2. Akins, his only outing against Oneonta. 2 innings in the 10-4 loss back on June 7th. Gave up a hit and a run, walking 2 and striking out 3. As he threw the 6th and 7th that night. 2-2 pitch. Millman checked the swing, and they say it'll be a backwards K. He doesn't love the call, but he's rung up with a looking K ahead of Chase Armstrong, who comes up with 2 outs. Armstrong, a polar bear and now an outlaw, is a guy who certainly would love to see back here in the Outlaw Threads next summer. Chase is one great guy. He's always looking out for the best interest of the team, always here ready to put in the work. If you want to talk about a guy who cares all so much about his swing, cares all so much about his approach, and does all the little things right to try to improve his game in all areas, that'd be Chase Armstrong. He's that guy for this Outlaw team. Akins squares to the plate is 1-0. Armstrong straight on back into the mat, 1-1. I always feel like I'm the first one to get here sometimes, especially on our road game days, but sometimes we roll in here and Armstrong's already out there in the parking lot waiting to get into the clubhouse, as he's one of those guys who's just always jonesing to get in the cage and get some swings in. The 1-1 from Akins. Armstrong straight up behind the screen. Takes a bounce and gets out to the parking lot again, so it's 1-2. Just saw that the game in Batavia has gone final. Jamestown and the Tarp Skunks. So we will take a look once again at our PGCBL out-of-town scores in the 8th inning. Count 1-2 is Aiken trying to end the frame. Up just barely off that outside edge. 2-2. Aiken spinning that ball around in his hand. Once again, all 2s. Armstrong with a high fly ball left side of the infield. Sparks will run out of room as that one will drop into the left of the seats and stays in the park. So Armstrong hangs alive as he still looks for his first hit of the game. 0 for 2, ground out 5-3 in the second, P5 in the 5th. Everybody from Amsterdam having a ball out there in the outfield, gloves and hats all over the place. And Akins taking some big size before he comes back ready. Waiting in the on-deck circle for Oneonta is Jeremy Taggart if they need him here in the 7th. Again, the Mohawks played at 3 in the top half of the 7th after Oneonta tied it up, bottom stitch. Courtesy of some fluky base running and an E2. It's the 2-2. Down and away, ball 3 as Armstrong's worked it bat full. So the Outlaws do get that run in the bottom of the 6th on no hits and an error for Amsterdam, which is certainly probably the more craziest or wildest part about it, is the payoff. Up behind the plate yet again, and everybody's calling heads. Is that one going to get over our Outlaws office area? So it'll leave the ballpark again, and every kid here going to go racing for it. Quite a few kids in attendance here on Casella night as well as Morris Little League night. Very impressive crowd for a Saturday game as well. And we do have one more Saturday night home game next Saturday against Boonville. Be a 7 o'clock start, so mark it on your calendar, ladies and gentlemen. We want to see you here at historic Damaschke Field. Payoff offered from Akins. Up and away, that's ball 4. So Armstrong going to draw the 9-pitch walk. He'll head down to first, and Taggart will have to throw off his shin guards and come to bat. Taggart trying to impress the fam he's got in attendance as he's had a rough start so far. Oh for 2 is Taggart with a pair of swinging strikeouts. Aiken to check look over the shoulder as Taggart going to go fan in for a fastball, 0-1. 3 of the 4 outs that Aikens has recorded so far have been via the strikeout. Aikens talked about it in the first inning he came in, which was the last, as that awkward spin move with the ball in his left hand before he yanks it in the glove and cranks back to fire. Is that one going to go up and away for ball 1? Certainly not something you see every day, but a nice little change of approach. Count going to stay 1-1. As again, Aikens looks to first. Armstrong looks like he wants to run. Up and off the outside edge of the plate. 2-1 it'll go. So Taggart now with 6 strikeouts and 8 plate appearances against the Amsterdam staff so far this summer. Everything can change the tune with just one nice good swing of the bat, and Taggart trying to do that and keep things going here with 2 outs for your Outlaws here in the bottom of the 7th on Outlaws YouTube. Called strike and tight to the knees, and Taggart didn't love that call. Aikens hoping that he can get one more of those to get himself out of the 7th inning and get the Mohawks back to the plate. Taggart will choke on up as his feet square apart side and side. Aikens looks to first. Armstrong's on the run as that was a hit and run play with Taggart putting him back into the screen. Got to keep it fair to pull off the hit and run successfully. And so they'll try it again, probably. Taggart back on settled in. 2-2, 2 away. Game 4 of 4 in the season series. Amsterdam winning the last 2 after the Outlaws took the opener. Quick Chetlet to first. Armstrong again wanting to run. Is that going to be a called strike 3? Taggart going to take it like a man, and the true pro he is, despite that pitch being very, very high, up and away. To the top of the 8th we go. Going to stay 5-2 Amsterdam. A staff day always calls for some unlikely surprises, and none might be more unlikely than who the Outlaws turn to next. Ben Gilbert, who's been around this team at various points of the summer, all throughout the 6 weeks we've been here, whatnot, is going to get the nod for this 8th inning against Amsterdam. It'll be his first pitching appearance of the season, and he is a player who's taken a gap year in the portal and whatnot. He's not committed to a school after graduating from Oneonta a couple years back. Is Gilbert going to wind and deliver? And that one going to be put up behind the plate, and it'll stay in the ballpark because it's going to be a 0-1. Ladahoff 1 for 3 on the day so far. L7 in the first, 2 RBI double in the third, also a P3 in the 6th. Outlaw defense set up on a bit of a diagonal from that second base bag. Armstrong set up in as this one bounced towards third. King popped it off the glove into foul territory. And Ladahoff going to bull it down the line. And he's going to have himself a single here to start the 8th. So Steven Spalletta now going to come up with 1 on base and nobody away, and Oneonta will shift into double play defense on the infield. Spalletta with his toes up tight to the chalk line. On both sides of things, he's a lefty swinger, shows bunt, trying to pop it down the third base line and put it in foul territory. Couple inches to the left of the chalk line, so it'll be an 0-1 count. Mohawks, whenever they get in these types of situations where it turns into a pitcher's duel and close game like this, always play small ball towards the end, trying to play a couple more runs. And they certainly did the best job they could. Gets every arm they've seen for Oneonta tonight. The only 2 they've solved are Goebel and Ellenson just in that last inning kind of fell apart with 2 outs. It's a swing and a miss. Going to make it a 1-2 count. Gilbert, I'll be interested to hear from the boys after this one what velocity he was ticking. Guy who's not exactly known for his high-speed stuff, even in high school prior to his gap time. Is his 0-2. Up and away, ball 1. So a lefty batter is Spalletta. He stands at 6'1", 185 in the box. Certainly looks a little bit smaller than that. He's looking over towards first. Gilbert nods. Slow daisy cutter right side of the infield. Flipped underhand, turned back to first. Not going to be in time. So they get the 1. As Burnsworth goes to Carrera for the 4-6. And Spalletta going to get on courtesy of the fielder's choice. So it'll be 1 on with 1 out for Drake DiGiorno. And in that situation, trade the run for the out and get the lead runner, which you can't complain about. DiGiorno has been 0 for 3 on the evening thus far with that sparkly batting helmet here for the Mohawks on the road. On the run goes Spalletta. Taggart, gun throw to second. Tad slapped on by Burnsworth, and that's called out. Taggart with 2 caught stealings in the game, as that'll be a 2-4. And Gilbert gets some help, courtesy of a great cannon back there by Jeremy Taggart. Again, that's 2 in the game for Taggart as he had 1 back in the 3rd inning as well. Our field ump certainly took a second to get his out signal up there, but now the count going to be 1-1 here on Drake DiGiorno. They always seem to love the drama here in terms of our ball strikes and out calls in the PGCBL. 1-1 in there for strike 2. And Gilbert looking real solid here for Oneonta in this 8th. Gilbert, bad set, looking to home. Kitson delivers his 1-2. Swing and a miss, and he gets out of the inning. His first inning of the season, and Ben Gilbert going to work around a leadoff single, courtesy of some help from his defense. To the bottom of the 8th we go. 5-2, Amsterdam going to remain your score. Emptying out the bullpen continues for both squads as Amsterdam going to turn things over to another arm. This time it's Ryan Pitts, another pitcher who is making his first appearance of the season. He stands at 6'1", 160, and just concluded his sophomore year at UAlbany. So his first appearance as Burnsworth check swing goes up to the screen, as it'll be 0-1. Burnsworth has struck out swinging both times so far up tonight, so he's 0 for 2. Pitt's a business management major up there at UAlbany. It's a huge swing and a miss again. Burnsworth behind 0-2. Again, we remind you, the Outlaws, this is game 1 of a 3-game homestand. Off tomorrow, then we're back here Monday for Depot Wing Night. 7 o'clock start against Mohawk Valley. And Tuesday, not going to have any kind of promotion, but it'll be a regular game against Utica, 7 o'clock first pitch. 0-2. Burnsworth lays off as that's up and away, 1-2. Pitch pounding fastballs in here. 3 consecutive to Burnsworth to start this at bat. Before we go back to the top for Jaden Ross and Matt Carrera here in this 8th, with the Outlaws looking to plate some runs and get back into this one. 1-2. Burnsworth hangs alive as it goes into the netting behind the plate. Outlaws, it may be an off day tomorrow, but everybody's going to be together at the golf outing. Everybody's either playing or working the event, as it'll be 12 teams, everybody trying to take the title and be winners of the first ever Outlaws golf tournament tomorrow morning. So again, the count going to be 1-2. As the righty pitch, going to kick and fire. Burnsworth shoots it off right over top of the Mohawk dugout. They hang it alive. Pitch again, 1-2, in tight to the knees for ball 2. Burnsworth trying to change up his line against Amsterdam with 3 strikeouts against him on the season. He's a guy who's struggled a little bit when he's gotten in here, has not seen regular playing time. He's one who's been in and out when some of the more regular staples in the Outlaw lineup have needed an off day and whatnot. Does help him out in terms of reps that he's an infielder with the Outlaws having Jack Bateman now not here. Brendan Connolly unable to throw the rest of the summer. Harden having left for Wofford is the 2-2 down and away for ball 3. So it's already 7 pitches that Burnsworth has seen. He'll need an 8th. And again, right after Burnsworth, we'll go back to the top of the order. Amsterdam's bullpen is quiet as the payoff pitch from Pitt. Swing and a miss. He got Burnsworth reaching for that fastball down and out as there's one away for now Jaden Ross.
Back to the top we go from the
Get loud and get proud for Jaden Ross. He's walked twice and scored 2 runs. So the only 2 runs for Oneonta have been scored by Jaden Ross. The last one in that 6th inning was courtesy of good heads-up base running. And now with the base paths empty, being the leadoff guy, he's hoping that he can be the spark plug that this lineup needs. Called strike, low and away. Burnsworth gave him a quick word as he was walking back to the dugout about what to expect here from Ryan Pitts. Ross rocks that all-green batting helmet with a yellow bull on it for U.S. South Florida. And he goes swinging for that breaking pitch as he'll now trail 0-2. That's one I'm sure if Ross could do it again, he'd want back. He's always telling me after games about pitches that he shouldn't swing at, pitches that he should swing at. You got hosed plenty of times this summer on pitches that have been low or up or whatnot, and seems like the strike zone only 2 inches wide when he's up there. Is this one over the screen on the first baseline? I should say the strike zone 2 feet wide when he's up at the plate. So the count going to be 0-2. As Pitts going to step and fire the pitch. Ross sprays it off over the screen again on the first baseline. So it'll stay 0-2. Again, we got a promo with Jaden Ross about our Depot Wing Night on Monday, dropping on our socials tomorrow. I had a blast recording that with him prior to the Outlaws taking BP down in the cages this afternoon. A little bit of a change to the approach. No on-field BP today. They opt to take it in the batting cages. It's the 0-2 offering. Up and away over his head. So that's ball 1. So the count now 1-2 as Jaden Ross hangs around. Looking on towards home. Ross going to lay off as that's ball 2. Ryan Pitts, not only playing ball not too far from home at UAlbany, he's a graduate of Shenendehowa from Clifton Park, so he knows what it takes to play ball here in upstate New York, and he shows you there with a big swing and a miss. Jaden Ross retired for out 2 ahead of Matt Carrera.
Next up for your Outlaws.
If Carrera can't find a way to get on base and keep this inning going, The Outlaws going to have to try to keep Amsterdam exactly where they're at right now and then get to the plate in the bottom of the ninth, looking for another tying affair here at home, as this team has played a lot of games where they've been tight going into that last final frame, or even going to 10, as we've seen a couple of 10-inning slugfests here at Damaschke so far this summer, both of which have resulted in ties against Mohawk Valley, who's here Monday. Then Mohawk Valley turns around and goes to Amsterdam Tuesday, so a little two-game trip coming up for the D-Dogs. It's a 0-1. Shot out towards the left center gap. Racing over. It's made by Javar Williams, as he made that look routine, but it was anything but, as he covered quite a ways as he was pinched over towards the right. But Oneonta goes down 1-2-3 here in this 8th inning, and they are going to need to keep Amsterdam intact here in the top of the ninth. 5-2 score, top of the ninth, coming up next. Top of the ninth inning, and the score going to remain 5-2 in favor of Amsterdam. Ben Gilbert, in his first outing of the summer, remains out for another inning, and the first pitch shot on off foul by Stewart. Coming up here in just a minute, we're going to take our second and final look of the evening at the PGCBL out-of-town scoreboard. We've flashed our new out-of-town games graphic a couple of times throughout the broadcast, so we'll give you one more update to hear about the scores. As the 0-1 going to go up and away, ball one. Game one finals, a pair of double headers today. Newark at Elmira, 14-3. Pilots take game one, and up in Mohawk Valley, D-Dogs take game one, 6-1 from the Albany Baseball Club. Stewart with a foul tapper down the first baseline, going to make our count 1-2. Rochester Ridgeman, the 2023 champions of the NYCBL, out at Niagara Falls for a 7-inning exhibition. Hits 35 first pitch. So they're probably done by now, long done by now. Batavia takes down Geneva 7-0 with a count 2 balls, 2 strikes on Aiden Stewart. Boonville able to surpass a late Utica comeback and take the victory 7-6. Bottom of the 8th in Glens Falls, Stallions have the lead 8-1. Called strike 3. Stewart going to be rung up looking here to start the 9th. Ben Gilbert, back-to-back Kings, dating back to that third out of the last half inning. Jamestown over Auburn, 3-2 in the top of the 9th at Falcon Park. And then game 2 of the doubleheader, Mohawk Valley, another victory over Albany, 12-2. So the Diamond Dogs made some big ground in the standings. It's the first offering, going to be in tight to the knees. Ball one, Austin Foley. And so the last game that got started today and is still going top of the 7th, Elmira, 6-0 lead on Newark, trying to shut that one out. Is Gilbert going to get a hit by pitch with that one coming on the knee of Foley. So Foley will be on base with 1 out for Jake Sparks. Oneonta's bullpen has gone totally quiet as everybody who was out there has come down to the dugout. 5-2, going to stay our score, and the Outlaw defense will shift into double play depth with Carrera set up almost even on that right side of the infield with a second base bag, and Burnsworth ready to turn one if he gets the opportunity. It's tipped straight on back into the screen by Sparks, so the count going to drop 0-1. Amsterdam did win the season series against Oneonta last year, 3-0. It was fewest amount of times these two had played in a season in quite some time. So the 0-1 from Gilbert, going to go up and away. And that count will be even, 1 ball, 1 strike. The Outlaws hoping that 3-run top of the 7th against Lawrence Ellenson doesn't come up as the difference maker in this ball game. Is Gilbert, bat set again with his 1-1 on the move. Taggart, another throw down, a second 10 slapped on. And a safe call this time on Austin Foley. That was quite the play by Jeremy Taggart as he saw that Foley had gotten that late jump to gun the throw down there to second. But a bag nonetheless for Austin Foley, who's been running circles here on the Outlaw defense. So he's in scoring position as Gilbert now looking his 2-1 offering. Up and away at ball 3. Gilbert not part of a golf team tomorrow. I know everybody's talking about Jay Ross's team at the golf outing, and also everybody's talking about the Maris team. There's another called strike. Going to move this count full. So the count's going full here on Jake Sparks. Sebastian Harden waits on deck down in the 10 hole. Gilbert with his payoff offering, down and away. That's ball 4. So back-to-back have reached here for the Mohawks in the 9th. Sebastian Harden going to be up with 2 on the pond, as he's been on base 3 times so far tonight already. Singled in the 3rd, was hit by a pitch in the 5th, and also is walked in the 7th. So got a very complete stat line with a stolen base, a caught stealing, and a run scored as well. Taggart was going to try to attempt the throw, lost the ball with the off speed of his hand. So advancing to 3rd goes Austin Foley. That'll be a pass ball to make it now 1st and 3rd with 1 away. So quick look over the shoulder. Gilbert going to attempt the throw, and Armstrong Nolet slapped the tag down, but it was late. Outlaws certainly need the fortunes to turn around, as this team doesn't want to go into their 13-14 stretch to close out the year cold. 1-0, called strike, 1-1. As we told you, Monday night going to be against Mohawk Valley. Tuesday against Utica. Both are here. Then it'll be 3 in a row on the road. Wednesday at Watertown, Thursday at Mohawk, and then Friday at Glens Falls for this upcoming week. The 1-1 on the back of the leg. That'll be an HBP to go into the book. The 2nd of the inning as well. And now Keaton Mark going to come out of the dugout to have a quick conversation with Ben Gilbert. He was certainly hoping that Gilbert could get out of this inning unscathed and keep this game 5-2, but now the bases are jacked for the Mohawks, and we're back to the top of the order for Javar Williams. Mark having a long conversation with the infield as somebody has now reemerged down in the Outlaw bullpen stretching, but there's nobody down there to catch, nobody else down there for encouragement and whatnot. So I think Oneonta is just getting an arm loose just in case, at the off chance they need one more, trying to see who that is down there in the pen.
Now batting For Amsterdam, number 7, Jabbar Williams.
Sometimes it's hard to read those numbers from so far away. First pitch swinging, Jabbar Williams, right side of the infield. Armstrong behind the mound makes the grab. So it'll be a P3, 1 pitch, 1 out. And so I guess Keaton Mark worked at least a little bit of magic.
Now up for the Mohawks,
And Rob Rispoli,
Rob Rispoli.
going to be their last chance in terms of offense in the regular 9 innings. The Mohawks have left someone on base in all but 2 innings so far tonight, as they have a grand total of 7 left on base entering this half inning. Up and away, this one's going to go for ball 1. They've left 26 on base in 3 games against Oneonta before tonight. Outlaws have left 31 on the base pass. So a lot of guys left on base in the season set, as this one skips to the backstop away from Taggart. Throw to the plate. Gilbert slapped the tag on, but it was late. So a run scores on the wild pitch. It's Austin Foley who's able to cross. Advancing to third goes Jade Sparks. In the second is Sebastian Arden. So now 2 in scoring position. Another run home as it's 6-2. And a 2-0 count. So Gilbert going to do whatever he can to get out of this half inning. Looking on home is 2-0 pitch. Up and outside, ball 3. Gilbert's just got to settle in and trust that fastball and even put pitches in the zone, because he knows his defense can make the plays. 3-0 pitch. Called strike, as Rispoli wanted that one. And hopefully for the Outlaws' sake, that throws him out of a rhythm. Bat set, Gilbert is 3-1 offering. Tight to the knees for ball 4. And so the stretch of 4 of the last 5 to reach against Gilbert going to continue, with Jackson Natili coming to the dish. This will be the last hitter that Ben Gilbert hits.
Number 28, Jackson Natili.
And so we'll see what Gilbert's got in him facing this extra hitter. 5th time Natili's come to the dish, and he sends one in foul ground down the third baseline, so it's 0-1. At third is Sparks, Harden's at second, and Rispoli's at first. The 0-1, swing and a miss, and it'll be strike 2. Gilbert just needs one more of those swing and miss plays. Shades off Taggart a couple of times with this simple signage that the Outlaw pitching staff works with their catchers with. 0-2 offering, down and in the dirt, ball 1. Just can't get that sell job pitch to get out of this inning with our score 6-2. Oneonta scored first in this one in the bottom of the first. Mohawks struck bad, top third with 2s. And now Natili, bouncer, gonna get past Owen Burnsworth to right. 2 runs have scored for the Mohawks. Chugging in the third is Rob Rispoli, and it'll be runners at the corners with 2 outs, and now an 8-2 game. Natili gonna get 2 RBIs on that one. So now he is one of 3 Mohawks in this game with 2 RBIs, which is not something you see every day. So Rispoli at third, over at first is Natili. 8-2 game is Gilbert trying to get out of this one. Up and away, this one will go for ball 1. They had the motion out to the bullpen that Gilbert was just going to get one more batter, but he stays in. Gilbert bat set with his 1-0. Swing and a miss as he got Ladderhoff pulling for a fastball. Ladderhoff has 2 hits in this game. He's 2 for 4, and one of the aforementioned couple with a pair of ribbies. Count going to be 1-1 here as Gilbert delivers. 1 on the back of the jersey. That clips Ladderhoff on the number, and so he's going to be on base. Rispoli stays at third. Natilli will be forced over to second. In the first is Cade Ladderhoff. Steven Spaletta will be up next, but first we get an Oneonta call to the pen. 8-2 game here in the top of the 9th with 2 away, and we will be right back. Big spot here for Liam Blair in the top of the 9th inning. Bases are loaded with 2 away, and this will be his second appearance of the summer against Amsterdam. Back in the last meeting between these two on Saturday, June 15th, he went 2 innings, surrendered 2 hits, 1 run, was charges earned, while walking 1, striking out 9, and facing 9 Mohawks. He's hoping that he can just go 1 batter and one out, as the bases are going to be loaded for Steven Spaletta. Blair, an inflated ERA with just 4 games pitched, as he sails a bullet down and away for ball 1. It is a 15.75 in case you were curious. 4 innings total pitched. Has 8 walks with 4 strikeouts. As the 1-0, Spaletta checks his swing and he came around, and so it'll be 1-1. Outlaws going to have to mount a huge comeback in the bottom of the 9th to take the win here in this one tonight. This team has certainly had some comebacks in them, as that one called strike on the upper outside. If they do take the loss tonight, they would move to 14-14-2, which would put them at 500 for the first time since all the way back in Game 2 when they were 1-1. 1-2 from Blair. Spaletta chopped it on off into the seats on the third base line. Spaletta, since coming off the bench, has been on base twice. A hit by pitch and a fielder's choice. Didn't expect that he would even get into the game tonight, yet alone have 3 plate appearances. But he's seen 3 different Outlaw pitchers. And now Blair trying to get out of this thing is 1-2. Shot on bat by Spaletta as he'll hang alive. Blair has not pitched since July 1st against Watertown when he went 1 inning, picked up a strikeout in the 9-4 loss. That was his best outing on the season, only one that he'd held opposition scoreless. As he was charged for 2 in Saugerties, 1 in Amsterdam, and then 4 against Glens Falls. And he had a long layoff between the Glens Falls outing and Watertown. Rocking around out there is 1-2. Up and away, ball 2, as he can't quite get it done. He'll need at least one more to try to finish out this inning. As it's now 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. 3 already home in the inning for Amsterdam as Blair kicks and fires. Up and away yet again. Is the count going to go on full? So Blair going to have to do the payoff. He's got nowhere to put Steven Spaletta. As Blair has that rocking around motion out there. Teeters that one in for a called strike 3. Liam Blair going to have the sell job behind the plate from Jeremy Taggart. A heck of a pitch framing effort. To the bottom of the 9th we go. 8-2 Amsterdam going to be your score as the Outlaws look to come up and mount a big rally here at home on Castella night. Bottom of the 9th inning as the Mohawks make what they hope to be their last pitching change. They need 3 more outs to get the victory tonight. Jacoby Dale takes ball 1 to start this inning against Brendan Klein. Klein, 6'4", 200 pounds, just wrapped up his freshman year at Brown College. He's from Flower Mound, Texas. As Dale going to take a called strike 1 on the slider down and outside. Klein pitched in Game 2, getting the win against Albany in franchise win 1,001 the other day as he struck out 6. Dale fans it 1 to make the count 1-2. Don't forget, no matter how the rest of this one goes, off day tomorrow, and then we're back in action Monday right here at home. Make sure you mark your calendars and come join us. Swing and a miss as Dale was hunting for the fastball and caught nothing but air. So now Colton Harrison with 1 out
For the
and an 0 for 3 stat line with an RBI. It's his sack fly in the first inning. Got the scoring going in this game before Amsterdam has turned around and scored 8 of the last 9. Klein takes a strike 1 on the lower outside against Harrison. Klein has had some depth in his arm coming out of the bullpen here for Amsterdam, as he's had a 4-inning outing, and he's also had 3 outings of 3 innings or more. Count going to go to 1-1 on Harrison. So with Mohawk Valley picking up a pair of victories and Utica losing tonight, the Diamond Dogs have slid back up into third. Utica now in front of Oneonta, which sets up a huge week coming up, starting Mohawk Valley here Monday, and then the Outlaws going to have Utica here Tuesday, and then Watertown, who's right behind the Outlaws, going to be the team that the Outlaws travel to Wednesday. So a huge stretch Monday to Wednesday is the 1-2. Call strike 3 on the inside looking. Goes Harrison. So 2 away for Brody Raleigh as the Outlaws going to be down 2020, when that was, the COVID year, where got a couple of teams who played some games forced together up there at Shuttleworth Park. Amsterdam didn't even get to wear the Mohawk jerseys that year, and it was just quite the show. It was the 0-1 off the plate for ball 1. It was not a PGCBL issued season, as the league didn't want to be responsible for any injuries, illness, whatever that year. Just a pretty short year where 20 games were played, but the Mohawks did put that thing on. It's the 1-1. Called strike, and now Oneonta going to be down to their last strike as it's a 1-2 here on Brody Raleigh after 2 straight Ks by Klein to begin the inning. Klein working from the first base side. Kitson fires his 1-2. Swing and a miss. Raleigh down on the fastball. And so Klein strikes out the side in the 9th. And the Mohawks going to take the victory here on the road by an 8-2 score. We're going to step aside and take a quick break here on Outlaws YouTube. When we come back, we'll wrap up this one. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us here tonight. Your final score going to be 8-2 in favor of the Amsterdam Mohawks. Amsterdam goes for 8 runs on 8 hits and an error, as they have 3 players, Javar Williams, Cade Ladahoff, and Aiden Stewart, all finished with 2 RBIs. And as for the Outlaws, just 2 runs on 2 hits, both of which are Matt Carrera singles, also have an error in the field. And so the book's going to be closed on this one. 8-2, your final score, as Amsterdam takes the victory. Mohawks going to move to 27-5. They take the season series this year from the Outlaws 3-1. And there is a chance that these two could meet again come postseason time, but if that were to happen, we'd hope that the Outlaws can get a better outcome next time. Oneonta drops to 14-2 with the loss, and we're going to be right back here Monday night, 7 o'clock first pitch on Depot Wing Night, as we'll have pregame here for you on YouTube, 6:45. Mohawks, next in action Monday at Utica, 6:45 start. So make sure you tune on in Monday night if you can't be here with us, but we'd love to see you for Depot Wing Night here at Damaschke Field. Have a great rest of your Saturday night. Enjoy the off day tomorrow, and we will see you on Monday.